but it is going to be cooler.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin. So something for both of us. And we've got a lot for you here on Fox 32.
Absolutely. Chicago Live's up next with Anita Glenn. I'll see you back here at 4.
Next stop, Sherry.
With you through 4 p.m. So let's talk about some of the conversations that we are expecting in this first hour. I can't wait to get to our first interview, so I'm going to gloss over these very quickly here. I'm looking forward to hearing about the Route 66 neighborhoods by trolley tours, and you can discover what Route 66 was like in the early days with these. We're also going to learn what the Mother Road was, how it's shaped Chicago's neighborhoods. We'll talk all about it. Also, the Democratic Party officials are visiting Chicago this week, and they're evaluating the city's bid, of course, for the 2028 Democratic National Convention. It's another major step in this process. So we're going to hear from the president of the Chicago Federation of Labor on what they are hoping to get out of a winning bid. Also, a giant teddy bear is drawing thousands to Waukegan Beach. It is in the Guinness Book of World Records and comes from Mexico. And in fact, Waukegan and Round Lake were chosen as places to display the bear based on their large Hispanic communities. So Waukegan's mayor has just agreed to join us today to talk about the bear's visit being a demonstration of the city's growth as a destination for both cultural events and family-friendly experiences. All of those on the way, everyone. But first, we got to get to two breaking stories here. And so we're just hoping that we'll be able to talk about, first and foremost, the Chicago Rescue Authority stepping in here and helping out more beagles from the Ridgeland Farms in Wisconsin. It's been an ongoing story that we have talked about really over the last month. We heard from a protester who, despite all odds, was intent on getting the beagles out of there. Whether they were right in their methods or wrong in their methods, they wanted those beagles out of there because they felt that the beagles were being harmed there at the Ridgeland Farms, where they were used for research and for other opportunities there. And so, fast forward a little time, we spoke to one of the reporters there in Wisconsin from our sister station, who has been on this for even longer, following the many calls for change at the Ridgeland Farms. And sure enough, change came. There was an agreement for 1,500 beagles to be rescued from that facility. There were two major groups that had their hands on that particular effort. They've gone on to Capitol Hill to lobby for even more things to happen. But in the meantime, beagles have gone out to rescue groups throughout the country. Now, initially we told you about, I believe it was about 25 of the beagles that were coming to Paws Chicago. And now we found out that the Chicago Rescue Authority is getting 15 more of the beagles from Ridgeland Farms in Wisconsin. And in fact, they have them with them today. So please welcome Megan Van Paris, the co-founder and foster director for Chicago Rescue Authority, and some of the other volunteers there with the beagles. Oh my goodness.
Hi, guys.
Oh, my heart. Tell us, just tell us about this operation. Tell us what process you all are in right now.
Yeah, so this is actually, this is our whole team. We're a very small rescue, so this is very, we have people oogling over the beagles right now. Please excuse the noises. But we have Serenity here is my co-founder. Maya is our medical director. So it's pretty much just the three of us that run this rescue. So we had another local rescue reach out to us and ask us if we wanted to get involved. And we pretty much said yes instantly. The biggest challenge for us, because we're a small foster-based rescue, was that we weren't able to say anything about the rescue operation until it had been announced. So we had to basically say how many dogs we could take without reaching out to our community and finding out who could foster a dog. So we kind of took a gamble and we said that we would take 15.
Very much. I think this one person will say yes.
Yeah, it was very much like, okay, I think we can count on this person. This person can be a backup. But we ended up finding 15 amazing fosters for these beagles. And we're very excited for them to all get into their homes and get learning how to be actual dogs instead of science experiments.
Well, listen, if they're not foster fails, I think you will have people running to you to adopt these beagles very soon. Just tell us about their temperament thus far.
Yeah, so we do actually have a couple of puppies on board here. That's not been typical for the dogs we've been seeing come out so far. So this little guy and these two here are both probably around only like 3-ish months old, 3 or 4 months old. And then other than that, we've got a range of male, female, and they're all adults. Yeah, probably up to around 6 years old, I would say. The older ones are definitely a lot more cautious, a lot more nervous. The puppies, which are the ones we're handling right now, are a lot more, willing to trust people because they haven't been exposed to the terrible things that the rest of them have for quite as long. So the older ones are definitely going to take a lot more time to come out of their shell. And we're very lucky that we have a foster team that is super prepared for all of the patients that they're going to need to offer them. And he's grown. That was
And also a skillful resident dog that will show them the way, basically.
Oh my goodness. And how does it feel? We've heard the stories, the harrowing attempts to rescue these dogs for quite some time. How does it feel to hold them in your arms?
Oh, we've cried a max of 10 times today already.
So many times.
As soon as we're picking them up, like, you can feel the want, but also the nervous. Like, we don't know what's going on. They're, so confused, but they are really trying to trust whoever they can, and you're feeling them like clinging onto your shoulders and like digging their nails into you, and they're hugging you, and it's just one of those situations where we just can't help but be really thankful.
There's like no words to describe the feeling.
And we're so grateful. Like, we've all followed this story from the beginning, and all of the activists that were incredibly selfless and brave in their efforts to help these animals. And I truly believe that without them, the proper attention would not have been brought to this, and these 1,500 dogs would not be free. And so I definitely shout out to those activists. You guys did the amazing hard work, and I'm so happy that we get to be a part of helping them on the rest of their journey. But you guys were the catalyst, you started it. So shout out to those amazing activists.
And now we get to watch their journeys on from the time on.
Oh, now, when you talk about the fact that the attention has grown, for sure it has, but that also now includes you all. You mentioned being a small rescue, the Chicago Rescue Authority. I would imagine, more people are learning about what you do on a regular basis now. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. Our platform is very much education first. So the more people that are able to kind of find us, I think the bigger our reach can be. And education is kind of the primary way forward to helping as many animals as we can. So
we're getting more fosters. We're getting more people who have been following the story, so they want to help, whether that's adopting, volunteering, in the background. So as we're getting more attention from them, we're very thankful for it. But honestly, these people will grow into people who will continue to help our rescue with other dogs too. So it's a very exciting feeling for sure.
I was seeing something just the other day, because this has now become a national story, and people are reaching out, just trying to find all of these 1,500 beagles wherever they've gone, so that they can have them. In fact, I saw one lady that she already had 2 rescue beagles that were older, and she was contacting different places trying to find these babies now to see if she could adopt them. So if people are watching you right now and they're saying, I want one of the 15, what do they need to do?
So right now we have about half of them that are in hopeful foster to adopt homes, which basically means that they're going to go on this journey with them and potentially adopt at the end, so they don't have to move. However, we are going to have another half that will be. So when they start accepting applications, which I do want to be very honest, it'll be a little bit. We have to do vetting, we have to let them decompress, we have to help them teach. And obviously they're still going to learn a lot more way past adoption. So I don't want to pretend like they're going to learn everything before they go up, but making sure that they have the time to let us learn more about them so I can properly place them in a home. We do have applications on our website. When they start accepting applications, they'll be listed on there. However, if anybody is interested and want to be kept up with it, we do have a generic application on our website that they are more than welcome to fill out. I will say with that, patience is needed, because we will not be processing and picking homes anytime soon. But we can keep them up to date. Our applicants will go through an extensive kind of thing. If they have other dogs or they've had other dogs, we will check vet references. We will go ahead and have phone calls with them. We will give them a lot of opportunity to know just how much they're putting into this if they are selected, to make sure that these dogs are found with the home that one is going to be right for them, but also is not going to give up on them. They've been through enough, and so making sure they have the least amount of movement as possible and the most amount of patience and love is going to be the most important for us.
Well, I know.
And also just remembering too that we're foster based, but we are also volunteer run. So all three of us here have full-time jobs. Everybody that runs our rescue has full-time jobs, and that's going to go for a lot of rescues that have these dogs. So if you're interested in adopting them, there will probably be a lot of people. So just be very patient with the teams that you're working with, and understand that, we're doing our best.
People are eager for sure, but yes, patience is required in all of it. Thank you for what you all are doing. I mean, stepping in and filling the gap for these 15 Beagles. They are so cute, and I certainly hope that their road ahead is better than the road that was behind them. Thank you all for what you do.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, I could talk to you all day. I just want to look. Oh, look at them. They're so cute. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you too.
Oh, goodness. Give me one. They are awesome. We do want to turn to our other breaking story, though. Chicago City Council Public Safety Committee just wrapped up a meeting in which they were talking in part about what comes next after the ShotSpotter detection in technology that was in our area has, become no more. What will replace it? Will there be something to replace it? We have the chairperson for that committee here with us right now, Alderman Brian Hopkins. Thank you so much for quickly joining the Zoom. We appreciate it.
Yep, thank you for having me. I'd be doing much better if I had a Beagle puppy in my lap, but be that as it may,
Wouldn't we all?
I'm here at City Hall.
Wouldn't we all? I think they're the answer to all of our woes. But tell us a little bit about the meeting and how the conversation went.
Well, the conversation did not go particularly well. We were frustrated as a member of the legislative branch. We did not get the information that we were seeking from this administration. And we understand the process of procurement is the prerogative of the administrative branch of government, not the legislative branch. But nevertheless, this issue is so important. It is literally a life or death issue when it comes to gunshot detection technology. And the process seems to have just completely stalled. We shut down ShotSpotter 2 years ago. The mayor said he was going to replace it. We put money in this year's budget to replace it, and nothing's happening. So we tried to get answers today, but we were unable to. So we'll just have to continue pressing the administration to hold them accountable for what they said they were going to do, which they today have not done.
And so when we talk about the fact that maybe a replacement is needed, let's walk that back a little bit. What did you feel was right or wrong with ShotSpotter that we need replaced or addressed now?
Well, my personal opinion was ShotSpotter was not perfect, but it was adequate. It did the job that it was supposed to do, which is to detect gunshot incidents when there's no 911 call associated with it. And for the 7 or so years that we had ShotSpotter active, we looked at all the data, and it was clear that in the neighborhoods where ShotSpotter was present, 71% of the bona fide gunfire incidents that it detected did not have a corresponding 911 call. People simply did not make that call for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they assume someone else is. Sometimes they just don't want to get involved. They hear gunfire outside their house. They just want to draw their blinds and hide. I understand that. But the bottom line is the police don't know if they don't get notified. And that's what ShotSpotter was doing quite well. So for, despite its imperfections in the technology, and by the way, technology is improving in the last 2 years since we shut down ShotSpotter, the gunshot detection technology has advanced significantly using AI and, just like everything else. So if we were to replace ShotSpotter with the new system today, it would more than likely work even better than ShotSpotter did for the 7 or 8 years we had it.
Have you all identified your committee? Have you all identified a system of technology that you feel would work better?
Well, we're looking at different systems. You know, we hear from other jurisdictions that have audio gunshot detection systems. So we know there's a variety out there to compete with ShotSpotter. One piece of information we did manage to get today from the administration was that there were 9 different companies that responded to Chicago when we said we're looking for a new gunshot detection system. So 9 companies with 9 different systems, 9 different approaches came to us, and we do have a committee of experts who are supposed to be evaluating these 9 different proposals. Now, that is a confidential process, and it was not shared with us today who are the members of this committee, who were the 9 different companies, and what is the status of the review of these 9 different proposals. All we know is that they exist and they're out there on somebody's desk, and we're waiting for a decision. But again, we've been waiting 2 years. And in the time that we've been waiting, people continue to be hit by gunfire with no corresponding 911 call. And in many cases, people die because they're bleeding out in an alley, or they're, you know, in a park at 3 a.m, and nobody calls and no one can help them. And they wind up, dying. That's what's happening. And we have documentation that that has been happening. So the longer we wait, the more likely it is that the next gunshot victim who will not be aided is out there and is going to lose their life. That's unacceptable.
When you speak of the data, but then also the imperfections, what were the imperfections you found in the data? I mean, that could have aided in saving someone's life or did not aid in saving someone's life?
Well, ShotSpotter had a system where a human being still had to verify that the sound was in fact gunfire, as opposed to, say, firecrackers or fireworks. You know, they sound alike. You and I probably couldn't tell the difference if, you know, a firecracker went off in our backyard and someone shot a gun on, you know, on the other block. It's going to sound the same to us, but there's almost a fingerprint in the sound wave pattern that can distinguish the 2 different types of explosive sounds. So ShotSpotter would detect the sound of gunfire, and then a human being had to look at it and look at the computer analysis and decide whether it looked like a gunshot or whether it was, you know, people talk about cars backfiring. Cars really don't backfire anymore. That isn't really a thing, but certainly firecrackers and fireworks are everywhere, especially in the summer months. So somebody had to make that judgment, and human beings can occasionally get it wrong, you know. So we did have human error that was present. ShotSpotter argued that they were 98% effective, that it had a relatively small margin of error. The inspector general who looked at it and the opponents, who are basically anti-police, anti-law enforcement activists, said that in their opinion the error rate was much higher. So we had that argument. We never really resolved it. But ShotSpotter had some data that they felt made a very compelling case that their error rate was small enough that you can't hold them to the standard of they have to be 100% accurate at all times. Nobody gets held to a standard like that in today's world. So if that's the standard, there is no technology that's, you know, ever going to be acceptable. But they felt that their system worked well enough that we should have continued to keep it.
I mean, you said anti-law enforcement activists, but there are some in the law enforcement community that don't feel like ShotSpotter in many different cities, don't feel like ShotSpotter is worth what it actually does.
Yeah, you know, and I understand that too, because, you know, the police wind up chasing ShotSpotter incidents that when they get there, there's nothing there. You know, someone shoots a gun, let's just say they shoot it in the air, and then they run. Well, that would trigger a ShotSpotter alert under the old system. It would require a police, you know, a patrol car to drive out there, drive around the general area where a ShotSpotter said the gunfire came from, and they don't see anything. There's no witnesses, nobody waving at the car saying, stop here, you know, I got to tell you what happened. So that's kind of a waste of their time. And some of them expressed frustration because we have so many gunshot incidents. During its active year, ShotSpotter detected in a typical year between 30,000 and 50,000 gunshot incidents that were detected in just the neighborhoods where ShotSpotter was active. That is a staggering amount of bullets flying through the air. Thank God most of them don't hit a human being. If they did, I mean, we would be, the worst war zone in the history of warfare. So it's a serious problem that there's that many guns and there's that many people shooting guns on the streets of the city of Chicago. But law enforcement's complaint that they have to be chasing every single incident when they can't really do anything about it, I understand that. But nevertheless, I don't think we can close our eyes to the fact that there are so many illegal guns being fired on the streets of Chicago. And if that's a burden for law enforcement to respond to every one, then we should hire more police.
And so let me ask you, I wanted to ask you that because I would like to know from you, how would you measure a new system's accuracy or success beyond just increasing police responses?
Yeah, well, there's data-driven approaches to measuring the outcomes, and certainly one thing that we can use is even in the event that there is a 911 call, comparing the response time for a shot spotter incident to a incident that happened in an area where shot spotter wasn't present, yet someone was killed. We know that it was over 2 minutes quicker to respond to shot spotter alerts. Now, 2 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but if it's you that got hit by that bullet, 2 minutes can be an eternity. It can literally mean the difference between life and death. If you got hit in an artery and you're bleeding out, the 2 minutes that shot spotter on average saved in response time for first responders, in many cases, did affect the outcome and potentially save lives. So that's one way to measure it. There's other ways too. As I said, we had 9 different companies come to the city with 9 different proposals, but they all included some way of measuring the relative success and effectiveness of the system. We need to do that because, these systems cost millions of dollars. And if we're going to spend millions of dollars, we have to find a way to measure the success so we can prove that it's money well spent.
Yeah. And then, to have that proof that would also hold them accountable. Because what would happen if the technology didn't meet the expectation? Like, that would have to be a part of the decision-making process as well.
Yeah, once you commit to a system, you are kind of stuck with it. ShotSpotter had well over 2,000 individual devices all over the neighborhoods that they were active in. The number actually may have been closer to 5,000. We never got an exact number, but a minimum 2,000 of these devices that were installed on rooftops, on utility poles, light poles, other places. And they're all hooked up to power sources, and there's cables and wires and everything else. So that's a pretty complicated installation, and it took them months to put it all out there. So once you make a commitment to a system like this, you're in it. You can't change your mind halfway through and expect it to be an easy process. So we have to be very careful about the system that we select to replace ShotSpotter. And that's one of the reasons that we wanted to take a look at where they're at in the procurement process, because we as a legislative branch have not been given any specific information about what the different systems that are under consideration are. And we need to know that because it's been 2 years and we're still waiting. And we've done some polling data. 2 recent polls show that about 67% of all Chicagoans believe that audio gunshot detection is necessary and desirable. The citizens of Chicago want this, and we represent those voters. So we're trying to give them what they want, which is a tool that they believe that the police can use effectively to keep our streets safer.
And when you say that, though, was ShotSpotter deployed throughout the whole city?
No, it wasn't. And that's something we should reconsider. It was deployed in the areas that have a high incident rate of gunfire. Not every neighborhood has the same experience with gunshots. So we looked at where the 911 calls were actually coming from, the police districts that have the highest number of shots fired incidents, and that's where we put ShotSpotter, which made sense when it was new. But as time went on, it didn't make sense any longer to keep some neighborhoods outside of this, of the reach of this technology. Even neighborhoods that don't have frequent gunfire incidents still have occasional gunfire incidents. So if it's one a month, one a week, whatever it is, audio gunshot detection can make a difference in that individual incident. So I believe that the entire city should benefit from this technology. We should not just single out the south and west side.
Yeah, and the flip side of that, why I asked you that, because one of the critiques of it was that it disproportionately surveilled Black and Latino neighborhoods.
Well, again, it was a data-driven decision on where to put it, and that was driven solely by the number of gunshot incidents. You know, I'm lucky. I live in a neighborhood that gunfire is rare. It's not unheard of, but it doesn't happen very often. But there's no desire to not have police, and there's no desire in a neighborhood like mine to not have a system like this. On the contrary, you know, people still want this, and they want to feel protected. Everybody wants to feel safe in their neighborhood, you know, no matter what the conditions are. And this should be something that is universally accepted by Chicagoans of all backgrounds, because criminals can go anywhere they want. You know, we have a free, open society, and the idea that one neighborhood is safe is really more an illusion. You know, we have armed robberies and carjackings and all sorts of other things in the so-called safe neighborhoods that I represent. So it really is a problem that we're all affected by. And to the extent that we should say we're all in this together, I think that's the better approach for Chicagoans, is to support each other and try to make the city safer for everybody.
Sure. One more aspect of this that I just want to delve into before I let you go. So the 9 companies, do they go through like a bidding process? Like what happens next? And do you all have another meeting?
They're in the middle of that. Yes, that process, we believe, has been completed. The 9 companies have, you know, gone through the process of submitting everything, being tested, being analyzed, being looked at. One of the 9, at least the rumor is one of the 9 has gained favor by this administration. We don't know if that's the case, and we don't know which one it is. But we do know it's been months. It goes back to the middle of 2025 when that rumor first started to surface. So here we are, almost the middle of 2026, and literally nothing has happened. So there's no sense of urgency from this administration to get this job done. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to have a committee hearing today, was to try to get things moving. You know, if they have stalled, let's pick the ball back up and start running again. You know, summer's here, and we're going to see the increase in gun violence and other activities that typically happen in the warmer weather. We can't wait any longer. It's really time to get moving, and that's what we were trying to do today, was to persuade the administration to stop delaying.
Second Ward Alderman Brian Hopkins, we always appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. We'll circle back when there's some movement on that issue. It's 1:28, everyone. Give us 2 minutes, and we're going to bring our next guest in, the mayor of Waukegan, so we can talk about their gift from Mexico. Okay, welcome back, everyone. It's 1:30 right now, and we've got to talk about the giant teddy bear that is sitting, or maybe lying, in Waukegan right now. We have Mayor Sam Cunningham who is joining us. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, good afternoon. How are you?
Doing very well, and I hear that this teddy bear is definitely making a lot of people feel very well, too.
It is. I mean, we've had this Guinness Book of World Record teddy bear in our community with the help of our partners, the General Council of Mexico, and certainly one of our corporate partners, Archaea, and to bring this to Waukegan to put some big smiles on the face of little boys and little girls. Roughly, I think it's roughly about 4,000 or 5,000 over 10,000. Oh, I'm being told 10,000 over the weekend, and certainly during the Mother's Day weekend. You can't ask me anything better than that, right?
10,000 people that came out to visit it over the weekend. That really is amazing. And when we talk about how large this thing is, do you have like the dimensions?
So it said was 63 feet tall and roughly 4 tons. And that is that's with air, but the original, I mean, to fill it with the original fillings you put with bear for a bear is a little bit different, but it was 4 tons. So that was pretty big on our beach, by the way.
Now, why was Waukegan chosen? Let's talk about the reason for this gift.
So let's just understanding that our community, where its population is roughly almost 50%, if not over 50% of our population is Latina from different parts of the country of Mexico. We have a long-standing relationship with the General Consulate, and second, it helps our community to understand that we are sensitive to not only their heritage, but the issues that exist around them. And that's why I think it was extremely important for us to partner with the General Consulate as it relates to Mexican Week in Chicago, and us, meaning us, the city of Waukegan, having probably the second largest population of Latinos from Mexico in our community. So it was just exciting to see that partnership.
I mean, the things that you spoke of, making people feel heard, feel seen, why is that important right now?
Well, one, we need to, I think, be sometimes intentional to embrace our various ethnic groups in our community. And the Latino community is simply one of them. And certainly looking at all of the things that's going on throughout our country, and certainly right at our doorsteps. I, along with the rest of our community, just want the residents, particularly those of Latino descent from the Mexican community, to know we hear you, we see you, and we embrace you of who you are, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And how long will the bear be around? What's the bear's name?
The bear's name is Xonita.
Xonita.
Correction, it's Xonita.
Xonita.
Xonita. Yes.
Anita loves the fact that it's Xonita.
Yes. Xonita. Yes.
Okay, and how long will it be around?
So, unfortunately, Xonita has left the city.
Oh, Xonita has left the building.
Yes, she's left the building. Real quick, on Saturday when it was down there, we had to bring it down because the wind, as you know, the wind was just so heavy. And I saw them deflate, and then they had to put it back in position to flate up again on Sunday. Wow, that was a major undertaking, but it still looked beautiful. But yeah, unfortunately, Xonita has left us, but it really served the purpose for that day. And on that special day, it was amazing. You know, it was part of the Mexican Week in Chicago area, which brought it a little bit north over here to Waukegan. And if I'm not mistaken, even went west to Round Lake. But more importantly, it served as is very symbolic for who we are in the city of Waukegan and how we truly respect the different cultures of our community. It was exciting to have that.
So does the Mexican consulate pick it up and take it to the next location? Like, do we know where it's gone to now?
They do. Where is it going next? I do not know, but they physically, the gentlemen who were there to basically manage that whole situation, they were at 4 o'clock. I think by 5:30 they were deflating. By 6 o'clock they were rolling it up, and by 7:30 certainly they were putting it on to be transported to the next location.
Well, I'm sure that everyone's glad that it brought a little joy there to Waukegan for a while Xonita was there. Mayor Cunningham, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for including us in this very special week and story. You guys take care.
All right, you too. It's 1:37, everyone. Give us 2 minutes and we'll be back. We're going to talk about the DNC and the possibility of the convention coming back here to Chicago. Welcome back, everyone. Just about 1:40 right now. I have Bob Ryder, the president of the Chicago Federation of Labor, here with me as we have seen DNC officials throughout our city this week kind of getting a look at, can we host the DNC yet again? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the answer to that question, Anita, is yes, they can, because history has told us that Chicago is a town that can do conventions and do them right. Chicago's hosted more presidential conventions than any other city, and while we didn't get the result that we were looking for politically coming out of the convention, financially the convention was successful in fundraising, not only to put on the convention but also to launch a campaign. So for those who are interested in bringing the economy to Chicago and benefiting from doing business in Chicago, there's no other choice. It's easy.
Now, you said you didn't get the results that you had hoped from the convention. I'm sure no one there, wanted the results that ended up as they were. But Does that maybe give a stain to Chicago where people are like,
No.
oh no, it didn't go so well for us last time. We
No.
might need to switch it up.
Well, here's what I'll tell you is that if you were to go back and look at the political result of conventions in the past, Chicago's got a pretty good batting average. I think what Chicago brings to the table is it lives the values. Chicago and Illinois lives the values of the Democratic Party. Chicago also is a great place for people to just meet generally. I mean, the largest convention center in North America, McCormick Place, is right here in Chicago. Chicago is an international city. Chicago is the center of our country. Everybody can get here, and for working people, you know, it's the heartbeat of America.
So let's talk about the working people, the Labor Federation. How was this beneficial to the Federation the last time, to the workers of your union?
So the CFL represents 300 unions and in turn represent 500,000 workers. And we have a lot of folks who work in the entertainment, convention, hospitality industry. And if you extend that out, it's from the time you get to the airport. We represent the workers who land the plane, so to speak, literally land the plane. The folks who staff the airports, all the way to the people who work in our hotels and our union restaurants, and our two venues for the last convention, which is McCormick Place and the United Center. So we obviously got a lot of work hours out of that. A lot of families were able to earn health care credits in their health plans. You know, they saw steady wages through that summer, but it was also a showcase, right? It was a showcase event that put the city on display for everyone across the country. You know, there's a lot of things that we talk about in terms of Chicago. Chicago's is a leading city on corporate relocations. Chicago in Illinois has the best universities in the country. And, you know, if you look at the density of top tier universities, we got them. At other cities, you know, they have one or two. We've got, you know, from the University of Chicago, Northwestern, UIC, DePaul, Loyola. You know, this is really where IIT. This is where all the smart people come to go to school. So,
Boston is like, you know, Atlanta's looking over their shoulders like, no, wait a minute. No. But we've got it, huh?
Yeah, we've got it. But and that's important because we have people, you know, when I talk about who we represent, from the airline pilots to zookeepers, from bricklayers to the xylophonists at the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. When you go into the United Center or you go to McCormick Place, the person taking your ticket is a union member, all the way to the many of the performers that you would see, you know, perform throughout the city during a night out. We really represent a broad swath of working people, but when it comes right down to it, it's the working families who live in all 78 neighborhoods, whether you live in Chatham or you live on the southeast side all the way up to Portage Park. We draw our membership from the city of Chicago, from every neighborhood. It's not just one neighborhood that runs the table on bringing money back to their neighborhood. The convention, like everything that we have in any convention, any large event that we put on downtown, it has a ripple effect throughout the city.
Yeah, it definitely does. Now, you mentioned all of the workers involved. That was a lot of work that went into the DNC. I mean, that time frame, that there's so much work that leads up to it. We're looking at a part of the process, but so much work for the days that it's actually in progress. Can we do it back to back? And if so, what lessons would you take from just 2024 if it were to happen again in 2028?
So I will say the last convention happened. We've now taken a breath. So we're ready, right? And I think with any event, you know, we hadn't hosted a convention since 1996 when President Clinton was on his reelect. We are going to be able to take the things that we did learn and be able to we'll be able to put those efficiencies in terms of timing, when things show up, what gets assembled, what order, everything goes quicker. It's, a great example of that was Chicago NASCAR street race. Every year, the setup for NASCAR got more efficient, less disruptive, and was a showcase event for the city. Now, some people are like, wow, Bob was able to shoehorn NASCAR in and compare NASCAR to the DNC, but eyeballs on the city, right? Things that bring people into Chicago mentally when they see it on television, that translates into visitors, and that translates into business. We will have a more efficient convention. We had an efficient convention, but we will be able to improve on timelines and all kinds of lessons learned. It's better to take the lessons learned from the last convention and deploy them in the place where you learn those lessons than to bother with going somewhere else.
We're a well-oiled machine is what you're
Yes.
saying. We're not rusty yet.
Hey, Chicago is the hometown of the American labor movement. People here work for a living.
All right. Bob Ryder, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
In person. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. 1:46, everyone. Give us 2 minutes and we'll get to our next discussion. We're coming up on 150 right now, and we've had so many discussions about the 100 years of Route 66. Great things that are going on. Of course, we're leading up to America's 250, and so we want to go ahead and bring in Mike McMains with Tours with Mike, because oh my goodness, he is on the trolley, so we can talk about Route 66 Neighborhoods by Trolley Tours. Thank you for being here, Mike.
Hey, thanks so much for inviting me. I'm excited to have this conversation.
Well, that's so cool, and I'm grateful that we're having the conversation while you're actually on one of the trolleys. Tell us about how that makes a difference in the type of tour.
Yeah, so we're right in the middle of a tour. So we're on break, so it's just me and our driver, BB, here. So I'll turn the camera around a little bit so that we can take a look at the surrounding area. But yeah, I mean, Route 66, it's the mother road, most iconic highway that you've got in the United States, celebrating its milestone 100th birthday this year, and it starts here in Chicago. So this tour, Route 66 Neighborhoods by Trolley, it just focuses on this starting portion of Route 66 that's entirely in the city. So we get pretty close to the border with Cicero. We can see it just on the other side, but the tour stays in Chicago. We talk about the this iconic highway's evolution, legacy, and we highlight a lot of special attractions along the way.
Now, how long are you going to be doing this? Let me just ask that.
Yeah, so it's pretty flexible. So I've got public tours on the schedule right now where people can get their individual tickets anytime. So that first tour starts Friday of next week, May 22nd, and it runs through November, which is the actual 100th birthday of Route 66. I can also do this anytime for a group. So if you book your own transportation, like a big motor coach or whatever, I'll do that private tour for you any time of the year. I can just hop on your vehicle and share the same experience.
What's the cost for these things?
Yeah, for the public tours, it's $50 per person. It's a 2.5-hour experience, starting and ending just outside of the Art Institute of Chicago, and it runs through the west and southwest sides of the city. And then for a private tour, as long as you book the transportation, this 2.5-hour experience is available for $350 for the entire group.
And tell me about maybe 2 or 3 of your favorite stops, 2 or 3 of the things that are just the highlights.
Yeah, you know what? We're at one of my favorite stops right now. So let's turn the camera around and I'll take you outside of the trolley to highlight some of that. So again, we got BB right here. He's my favorite driver that we've got for these Route 66 tours with Aries Charter. And just stepping off, we're heading out here. This is Ogden Avenue. A lot of y'all know it as that, but this is part of Route 66 as long as it's been in Chicago. So it's running diagonal here, and it was extended into the city in 1933. And there's a lot that we've got going on at this stop. First, we've got this iconic Chicago-style hot dog stand. We got Lulu's hot dogs. Yeah, I mean, you can get hot dogs along with all these other staples like the Italian beef, the pizza puffs, my favorite. But something that's special about this tour, and I can show you a little bit of it, is that there's this hidden web page that everyone has access to that's got historical photos and more.
Oh, cool.
And so with it gives you a sense of like some of the history around the area. And you can see here's a photo for Lulu's Hot Dogs when they were inducted into the very prestigious Hot Dog Hall of Fame in 2006. So it's an elite establishment. Looking across the way, we've got another iconic restaurant. We've got the Ferrera Bakery. You can see that it dates back to 1908. It's very helpful. You can see on the banner. Whenever establishments have the actual date on there, it helps me with my tour. But yeah, it's still a family-owned bakery, been around here since 1908. That second floor, you can see it's more of an industrial style up there. And that's where the Ferrera Pan Candy Company was, where they came up with such iconic candy brands like Red Hots, Boston Baked Beans, Lemon Heads, and so on. And I've got one last thing at this stop that I want to feature. I just want to make sure I don't get run over, but we got this wonderful mural. So I can highlight who it's done by. It was financed by the Illinois Department of Commerce and Choose Chicago, our local tourism bureau. They're the ones that actually funded this Route 66 tour and its creation. Let me step out a little bit further so that we can try to see more of this.
Nice.
It's probably easier if I go on the other side. There's a lot of traffic coming through.
Please
but this
be
mural
careful.
was done by Ben Marasco, completed last year. And it's just really beautiful.
It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Truly talented.
Yeah, so this highlights a lot of those things that we'll be seeing on this tour. So you got the Art Institute Lions, 100 Years of Route 66, Car Culture, Lou Mitchell's, the Berghoff. It's a great outline for my tour.
Mike, how has it been, in terms of just planning for this and thinking through this? What's that process been like?
Hey, you know what? I love being an entrepreneur. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. But so I keep on trying to come up with really special tour experiences that people aren't going to find anywhere else. And I try to think of what are people going to be focusing on and make sure that I have something special that people are going to want to check out. So to the best of my knowledge, no one else is doing a tour that's focused entirely on Route 66 portion just in Chicago. So that's my focus, and I'm really proud of this special experience.
You got the jump on everybody for sure. I mean, you never know now that they do know if someone's going to hop on the idea, but for sure you got the jump on them. And I see that you, in the time period that you have people, you also stop for like a lunch during that time. And one of the places I love to get like a breakfast lunch combo, La Catedral.
Yeah, La Catedral, that's a wonderful restaurant. The original location's in Little Village, and they've got several locations that they've expanded around the city. They tout themselves as being the home of the world's best chilaquiles, and they are very good. I just have to make sure that I can't get them as spicy as they can make them on there. I can handle a little bit of spice, but not a lot. But they're so good. I love showcasing Little Village. It's one of those wonderful neighborhoods that we've got along Route 66, and there's nothing like it.
All right, everybody. So from May to November, you can hop on these tours, these trolley tours. Now, there's no guarantee we're going to get BB, but Mike, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much. You can find all my tours on my website, tourswithmike.com. I hope to see you on a special experience as we celebrate the Mother Road's 100th birthday. Thanks so much.
Sounds awesome. Thank you for giving us a bit of a preview today. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So many different things that are going on. I mean, we spoke with one of our colleagues with the network who is actually doing a story going on the journey of Route 66, and I think she was in like Amarillo, Texas yesterday, and like each day she's doing a different stop on the tour. It's a really cool story that she's putting together, stopping from one place to the next. I'm not sure exactly where she wants to be at what point, but kind of checking in with her each time she makes a stop has been great. There's so much to learn, so much history. We walk around history every day, so tours like this give us the information sometimes we walk right past on a regular basis, so that we know a little bit more about the beauty and the diversity and the history of this city. It's all a wonderful thing. 1:57 right now. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we'll be back. I'll set you up for where we're going in the 2 o'clock hour. The first hour just zoomed by. Welcome back, everyone. It is 2 o'clock, and so let's talk a little bit about what's coming up in this next hour here on Chicago Live for the day. Oh my, we are anticipating storms in our area, another round today, this evening. We'll talk about the weather specifically later on in the show. But well before we get to that, whenever we have instances of hail, for instance, you think about the dings, the dents. Oh my gosh, my car, my roof, those things. When you get a crack in the windshield, that can be fixed. But do you ask those at the, auto center that you go to check under the hood? Do you, in the age where we have all of this technology in cars, do you ask them to actually do a audit of the technology to make sure it's still working the way it's supposed to? If the hail could damage the hood in the windshield, could it damage the technology? We're going to delve into that with an expert who says yes, actually. So that should be very interesting. We're also going to talk about a rewards app, and not just like for everyday things. I mean, it could be used for that, but especially right now where so many people are thinking about affordability and gas prices, we're going to look into how it could help you where that's concerned. It's called Upside. We'll talk with the co-founder and the chief product officer. But first, a lot of this has to do with technology, and we see it in every part of society that technology is like increasing our ability to do different things, and that includes in schools. So we actually have increasing popularity when it comes to digital hall passes now, and we have Mary Pat Carr, the Director of Safety and Security for Orland High School District 230, who is joining us to talk about the use of this technology and how it's been beneficial to them thus far. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. We appreciate it.
How long have you had these digital hall passes?
So our district has been piloting digital hall passes since early February in one of our 3 high school campuses. So we wanted to try it out before launching it across our 3 school district, and used Andrew High School in Tinley Park as our pilot school for the last about 3 months or so.
And what have you found in those 3 months?
So what we have found has been fascinating. We have found how often our students are using passes out of class, how long they're out of class for, and where they're heading. This has been really important information as we work to promote safety in our schools.
What were some of the things that even made you all say, hey, we should give this a shot?
That was coming out of our staff. The superintendent and I had some meetings at the end of last school year where we worked with our staff and said, hey, is there anything that you guys are interested in? Things that you think may promote student security, student safety, staff feeling of safety. Several of our staff members articulated that they had been at school districts where there were digital hallway pass systems, and they found that it was very beneficial. We also began interviewing other school districts in the area, including 2 of our school districts that have it, and their students, when they leave 8th grade, come to us as 9th graders. So we were seeing that this was a product that was available and becoming more and more popularly used in the area, and wanted to explore it for ourselves to see if it was something that could benefit our students and staff here at District 230.
On that note of like 8th to 9th grade, I would typically think of like a hall pass for younger students, not necessarily for high school. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Since I began in the district in 2002, we have been using hall passes. It's a way for our staff and our administrators, our security who are in the hallway, to know that a student should be in the hallway, that they've gotten permission from their teacher. Additionally, it provides communication from one staff member to the next of, hey, the student left my space and my supervision. It'll take them a few minutes and then they will be with you. So it's a system that's been around for as long as I can remember, and this is our way to modernize that system.
And explain exactly how it works. I mean, is it something they're holding? Is it an app on their phone? How does it work?
So we are a one-to-one school district. Each of our students and each of our staff members has their own device. Each of our students has a Chromebook and each of our staff members has a laptop. Our students and staff both have their own view of the program. It's called Smart Pass. Each of them has their own view, either a staff member view or a student view, and our students can create a pass. They ask their teacher, same as they would before, hey, can I go to the bathroom and can I step out for a few minutes? The teacher either says, yes, that works, you know, for what we have going on in the classroom at this time, or they may say, oh, you know, we're about to do this activity, if you can hold it for a few minutes and then we'll send you on the pass. The student creates the pass and the teacher says, go ahead. Any staff member then who sees the student in the hallway can use their phone if they would like. They can use their laptop and determine whether or not it's appropriate that the student is in the hallway, in the restroom, visiting an office space. And then our teachers get to see kind of a countdown of how long the student has been out of the room for. We've been using this as a way to increase fidelity. We know that our teachers want to keep teaching and not have minimal interruptions while they're working with students, while students are working with each other. So it's a way for our students to gain a little bit of ownership of their time in and out of class, with, of course, the permission of the teacher.
And when you said they determine if the student should be in the hall, is it like they can touch the device and something, you know, tells them, oh, you know, it emits the information, or?
Well, yeah, it's a dashboard that they have on either the teachers can use. We have several staff members who are using iPads in the halls, and they see the student's ID picture with the classroom that they left, with the space that they're going to, like the restroom or the water fountain, or another staff member's space, and how much time they've been gone. So we have a couple different ways that we can see it. The staff members can look on their phone and see the student with their ID picture and you know, the information about their comings and goings. They can use one of our school issued iPads if they're one of our hall monitors, as well as just their school issued laptop. So there's a couple different ways that our staff members can determine, you know, hey, where are you going? Where are you heading? This helps our students maybe who are stretching their legs rather than using the restroom. We want to make sure that our students are in and out of class as quickly as possible.
And I ask that because I would wonder, does that mean that that an adult always has to make contact with the student in order to verify that they should be in the hallway, versus you know, some type of way of them, without coming in contact with the person, knowing?
Yes, so they do not need to make. One of our observations of our hall monitors is, you know, I used to have to check a student's written pass, take a look at whatever the handwriting that I was getting was. Now I don't need to do that. I can take a look and say, oh, perfect, that's that student right there. And I know that they're on their way to the restroom, or I know that they're on their way to the nurse's office. And if I know they're on their way to the nurse's office, am I going to have a conversation like, you feeling okay? You good to get to the nurse's office? So they can do this quickly without even having, unless they want to engage with one of our students, they can check the student and the student can be on their way.
Sure, so the hall monitor has like a list of everyone that has a pass.
Absolutely, and it's a live list. It is second by second. This is a great tool for us should we need to do an evacuation or a relocation. We know exactly which students second by second are not with their typical classroom teacher. Maybe if we had to do an evacuation for a fire. We know that, hey, these 8 students across our building are out on a pass and they were in the bathroom. We need to check the bathrooms and make sure that everybody got out safely. So it really is timely, and we know exactly who is where and when they should be.
That is tremendous. And, you know, I think about, obviously, we have to talk about the types of things that this could prevent. I mean, obviously, it would be wonderful if this was just to make sure that the kids were getting to class and, you know, not being teenagers and wanting to cut, you know, or do things like that. But really, this could help in extremely serious situations. Expound on that a little bit, you know, the greater aspect of safety where this is concerned.
Yes, so we have been really closely examining our data, particularly our discipline data, seeing where our students have more trouble with their behavior. What we have seen is that our safety-related referrals that can include things, but are not limited to things like aggressive behavior or student conflict, a fight, perhaps use or possession of drugs or alcohol. We're seeing that those things occur more typically not when they're under a a teacher's supervision during the class period. It's more when they're off on their own. So the idea of this is to minimize this. We can identify if we have bathrooms that we're concerned about where students are vaping. We're able to identify, hey, we've had a lot of activity, a lot of students requesting to go to this bathroom. We're going to add some supervisors there. We're going to prioritize that space. So this is really helpful in terms of our global efforts to promote a safe school environment, which we know has the biggest impact on student learning. Additionally, we are able to identify if students have conflict with one another. We're able to set things in our pass system that if this student does not get along with that student, they won't be out on a pass at the same time. It allows a little bit of a cooling off period and allows us to make sure that we're putting in things to prevent possible conflict at school.
Wow. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. And then I think about that hall monitor with a live list. So if you see someone who shouldn't be even at the school or in the hall, maybe they called out that day and now all of a sudden they're in the hall, you would have that alarm bell immediately to say something is very wrong.
Correct. And all of our hall monitors have radios where they can quickly reach our administrators as well as our school resource officer. We do have a school resource officer on each of our campuses, so we have that immediate safety response from the police. Additionally, we have staff members, again, with radios. We have dual lock doors, 2 sets of doors that visitors need to get in, to go through to get in. And again, like you said, if a student or somebody shouldn't be in the hall, we can easily see that they're not on that list, and we can identify and mitigate that.
Mm-hmm. I think these are tremendous efforts that you all are taking. The other half of me is like, goodness grief, these are the efforts that educators have to take these days. How do you feel? How do you reckon with that?
I think that being aware of the different mitigations that we are able to access is fantastic, right? Part of that is exploring, and that's why we did a pilot program over the last couple months to see, is this something that is beneficial to our efforts? We are constantly listening and learning from what our colleagues are doing, looking for ways to improve the different safety efforts that we have.
Yeah, but I just think about like our generation going to school, and it's like, oh, you just went to school and you came home, versus all of these efforts that are going into keeping kids safe in a place we just automatically assumed, oh, it's safe.
Right. Yes. And it is different. It's a different landscape than probably many of us adults are used to. Our students have grown up in a very different climate than we did. And it is our job as the adults to protect them and to be as forward thinking as possible on ways to make sure that they are staying safe inside and outside of school.
Yeah. And as I understand it, I mean, your position even was created with this in mind, that this is a new position, again, in a new landscape.
Correct. Yes. My position has been in existence in the district for about 1.5 years now. I came out, I had been in the dean's office at one of our schools for 13 years. And then I was also part of operations for 4 years at the same school. So I come from a place of safety and have really enjoyed being able to work with our students and our staff and our families on brainstorming and constantly kind of pushing the envelope on how we can keep all of the members of our school community safe.
Yeah, well, we're grateful for all of those efforts. I say all of that to say we're grateful, that you all are keeping our babies safe. It's just like, goodness, this is where we've come. This is what we've come to, that we need all of these things. But super grateful that you all are able to have them, that the technology has come thus far, that you all are able to do these things. So thank you for being here to talk with me about it. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, I think I had an open campus in high school. Like, I mean, it's come a long way.
It has for sure, and we do our very best to keep our kids safe inside of our building and be able to keep a really good eye on them.
Yeah, thank you for what you do. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care. Everyone, give us 2 minutes and we're going to be back to talk about the Upside Rewards app. welcome back, everyone. It's 2:16 right now, and while we wait for our next guest to join the chat, we want to take you to a live event that just started up here. This is Chicago Grows Together, a press conference that they're having with the Chicago Park District Superintendent Carlos Ramirez Rosa, and we do anticipate hearing from Mayor Brandon Johnson here as well.
Beautiful new playground at Carver Park is the very first together project, so let's give it up for that. This community matters deeply. Outgell Gardens and the surrounding Riverdale community has long stood at the forefront of the environmental justice movement in Chicago. Leaders like Hazel Johnson, often called the mother of environmental justice, organized here and fought tirelessly for environmental equity and public investment for residents who have been under-resourced for too long. And that spirit of leadership and advocacy continues through so many people in this community, including leaders with our very own Chicago Park District. One of those leaders is Park District Area Manager Renee Shepard Owens, herself someone who grew up right here in Outgell Gardens, attended elementary and high school in this community, and learned to swim right here at Carver Park. She is deeply committed to the families who call this neighborhood home. She sent me some photos of the playground that was here, and she brought the conditions of this playground directly to the community's concerns, the need for the investment, and the importance of creating a safe, welcoming space for children and families here in this community. From there, Park District Planning and Construction staff began working on the designs and identifying pathways to move this project forward. And when I brought this project to Mayor Johnson's attention, he made clear that he wanted to help us get it done. And he did. Through this historic TIF surplus investment, the mayor and the council made it possible for public dollars to flow back into neighborhood needs, our schools, libraries, and parks. Today, those investments are becoming real for the families right here at Outgell Gardens and Carver Park. Just like this community, playgrounds matter. Playgrounds support physical, cognitive, social, and emotional development. They combat isolation, promote a sense of belonging, and foster community pride. They create spaces where children can grow healthy and families can gather, and where neighbors can connect. This playground is more than a place to play. It is a space, and the Riverdale community will thrive. And in turn, we as a city will grow together. At the Chicago Park District, we are deeply committed to equity and ensuring that every public dollar entrusted to us is invested wisely to improve the lives of Chicagoans in every neighborhood. And this is only the beginning. In the months and years ahead, Chicago Grows Together will continue advancing TIF surplus funded projects in communities across Chicago, particularly on the south and west sides, helping to ensure that every Chicagoan, regardless of zip code, has access to safe, welcoming, high-quality park spaces.
Okay, so again, they're just listening into a bit of this press conference there at Carver Park near the Riverdale community with Carlos Ramirez Rosa, the General Superintendent and Executive Officer for the Chicago Park District now, as they announce, new momentum for this area that holds so much history as well. He said that the place where they are right now will be more than a place for kids to play. It's about growth, it's about equity, it's about community. So they're continuing on with that, but our next guest has joined the chat now, so we do want to move on with our conversations that we planned on for this hour. And, when we talk about affordability issues, we want to be of help, trying to find some ways that maybe you'll be able to save a few bucks. And this could definitely be one of those. I have the co-founder and chief product officer for Upside, Wayne Lynn, here. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much for having us.
Wayne, give us an overview of the Upside.
Sure. So Upside's an app that we created that helps people save money on everyday purchases at grocery stores, restaurants, and gas stations. And so we recently launched a partnership with Mariano's in the Chicagoland area. So we're really excited for that. It adds even more ways for people to earn cash back by using our app.
Walk us through that, and why Mariano's?
Yeah, so Mariano's is a great brand. I actually used to live, I went to college in Chicago, so I remember it. And we're excited to partner with them. For them, they were looking for ways to grow their business, especially right now with everything that's happening. They're looking for ways to grow their business, and Upside, we bring and we really help consumers save money, but by connecting them to retailers, grocery stores on our platform. So we thought they were a great addition. In terms of how to use the app helps you earn basically up to 25 cents a gallon on fuel, up to 20% cash back on your grocery purchases, up to $20, $15, $20 per purchase. So these numbers really add up. And it's really simple to use. When you open up the app, you find offers near you that are of retailers trying to earn your business. You claim the offer, you go make your purchase, buying the stuff you need to buy every day. And then you just show proof of purchase. So you tell us what credit card you use to make your purchase, or you share your receipt with us, and then we get your cash back.
So would Mariano's be the only one in the Chicago area that that people would know off the top, a very recognizable name that they would be able to get cash back for? Or are there several others and Mariano's is just the latest?
Yeah, Mariano's is the latest. We also have lots of great fuel brands. So especially right now with everything that's going on in the world and the price of gas, BP is a great partner that we work with. Also lots of other brands in the Upside app. And so there's also lots of fuel opportunities in there, especially right now given how expensive gas is. And then also for the times you want to eat out, we also have several hundred restaurants in the Chicagoland area that you can also use Upside at to kind of save money when you're dining out as well with your family.
Mm-hmm. How long have you had this app?
Yeah, so we've been working on this since 2016. So we just, as one of the founders, I just passed my 10-year anniversary working on this. But it's really grown, especially in the last couple of years. Now all across the U.S., we just passed $1 billion of cash back that consumers have earned using our app. About 35 million people across the U.S. have access to the types of offers we offer people. So it's definitely grown significantly since back in the day when we started it, and at the very beginning when it was all the numbers were zero.
Well, congratulations on hitting 10 years.
Yeah.
What do you see as the things that you're still trying to add in, say, the next 10?
Yeah, so much more to do. There's still a long way to go. As you mentioned, Mariano's is the most recent major brand to join, looking to continue to add grocery partners. And then next up is really getting much deeper on restaurants as well. So there's some good options in there, but I think there's a lot more to do there. And as we go from there, as we keep going forward, we think what we do with Upside, really helping connect consumers with the things they buy in their everyday lives, you'll see us expand to all categories of retail. So think of the movie theater in your neighborhood, the wine shop, the barber shop, the florist, right? All the things you kind of get in your community. We think over time Upside can definitely help with.
And this is a free app?
Yes, it's free for the consumer to use. And actually, oftentimes one of the questions that people ask is like, seems too good to be true. So how's this happening? And it's actually really simple. So all the businesses that we work with, they are all trying to build their businesses, grow their businesses, and get more profitable. And what we do is we basically, the businesses we partner with, they're sharing a portion of their profits with you as the consumer for you to pick them. So that's where the money comes from. That's where the cashback comes from. The businesses we partner with is saying, hey, you are valuable as a consumer. We love your business. We're willing to share some of our profit with you for you to pick us over other places you could go in your everyday life to get the things you need.
And they're sharing a portion of the profit with you as well.
Correct. As the marketplace and as the app, it also costs our business, our company, it costs us money to run this service for everyone. So we get a smaller sliver of it. The majority of it goes from the retailer to the consumer that uses the app.
How many people do you have signed up for the app so far?
Yeah, so all across the U.S., there's about 35 million people that have access through the offer. So it's pretty significant. We've been working on it for a while. On the retail side, in terms of all the businesses, there's about 50,000 total locations. And in the Chicagoland area, there's probably several hundred gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants that are available for you to use.
Do you think, this is one of those things that it's we used to see like people with coupons in the stores, and this is one of the evolving areas of having an app to do the cash back, but do you think people are like slow to catch on? 35 million is nothing to, there's nothing small about that. But do you think we're kind of slow to catch on to the fact that, oh, we could be saving more?
Yeah, totally. And I grew up in an era where that was, that's what my mom did. I remember clipping coupons, my mom clipping coupons in the circular. I collected them like trading cards because that's what my family did for fun. I would rip off my brother by trading the coupons we had clipped. But yeah, this is, I think, the modern digital age. People are moving to doing things in their phones. What I can say about and digital versions of finding ways to save money, what I can say is a lot of the people that use our app, it's kind of like a life hack, right? It's this unlock that people discover that really helps them get pretty significant amounts of savings on the things they have to spend money on. So I definitely think it's evolving there. Like you mentioned, 35 million is not a small number, but there's also over 300 million people that live in the U.S. So there's also a lot more people that could benefit from what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. And do you have like regional numbers of like where the bulk of your audience thus far is?
Yeah, so it's actually at this point, it's especially because I've been working on this for a while. At this point, it's definitely nationwide. We see a great distribution from people all over the country. But I will say, because we started actually on the earlier side in the Midwest, we have a fairly strong Midwest population. It probably actually in two ways. One, we've been in the Midwest markets and in states like Illinois, cities like Chicago for a longer period. But I also think the Midwest, having formerly lived there, I think the Midwest is also just smarter about how we spend our money, right? Or how folks in this Midwest spend their money. So I think there's also possibly a good fit there.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of mentioned a little bit of like how the rewards work, but let's just on a final note end with gas because it is the big topic right now. How can people, what kind of rewards can people expect for gas?
Using the Upside app specifically or just in general?
Yeah, for the Upside app.
Yeah. So the Upside app, right now you can save basically up to about 25 cents a gallon is the highest offers you see. On average, we see around people saving 10 to 15 cents a gallon when they use the app. And this fluctuates. So one of the things I mentioned earlier is the retailers we work with, the gas stations we work with, they're sharing portions of their profit. And so one thing to keep in mind is that the price of gas is constantly moving, and the profit, the amount of profit the gas stations are earning is also constantly fluctuating. And so since we're trying to pair up as much value for the consumers we work with, we basically share a portion of it. So sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower. But in general, over time, when you use it, we give probably 3 to 4 times more cash back, more value than any other program you'll find out there when you use it for gas.
Well, wonderful speaking with you today. You probably are going to get a few more folks who sign up after they see this. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for having us.
All right, take care.
You too.
Just about 2:30. Let's take a 2-minute break before we get into our next discussion. Mm-hmm. right, 2:32 right now. So we have a few minutes before our next discussion here on Chicago Live. Let's talk about some of the things that are trending on our website at the moment. Fox32chicago.com is where you'll be able to see all of these stories and more. For instance, Oak Brook teenager that caused a deadly crash, speeding over 100 miles per hour, according to the prosecutors here. It's a 17-year-old boy now charged in connection with this deadly crash in Downers Grove that took place. Francesco Rendina of Oak Brook now charged with reckless homicide, a felony. I mean, this is serious stuff here. He allegedly sped up to more than 100 miles per hour seconds before the crash that killed a couple. Not just one person, but a couple. And so we have more information about this. I mean, there's obviously this information about the incident itself, but it's also a cautionary tale. So we've got a lot of teenagers on the road, right now. Investigators learned that he was speeding to about 104 miles per hour, 5 seconds before this crash, and then at 89 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour speed zone at the time of the crash. And so this couple, Reed Jacobson, 72 years old, his wife, Catherine Jacobson, 67 years old, died as a result of this crash. Just pretty heartbreaking that you would live that long in life and then have something like this to happen. But we have more information on our website about the incident, some of the background around it, and then also what comes next in terms of the next court date. You can find that on our website right now, and a lot of people are clicking on it. That, as well as the story about a young Chicago mother of 4 that was shot and killed after school pickup. Now, we had, I believe it was Lawrence Scafidi who came up and talked with us about this story yesterday. Yes, it was her story last night. She gave us a preview on the show in our 3 o'clock hour, I believe, yesterday. This family members who say 26-year-old Crystal Cruz was shot and killed while picking up her teenage brother. I believe he was 16, from school in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood. So Lauren actually spoke with the grandmother. She says that Cruz leaves behind 4 daughters between the ages of 6 and 10 years old who now have to grow up without a mother. The family now pleading for anyone with information or video, because we know we're in a society where there's lots of cameras, lots of phones out, all of those things. Anyone with video connected to this that, could possibly share that and help shed light on this situation to maybe bring someone forward, because no one has been arrested yet for this shooting that took a mother's life here. These little girls growing up without their mom. The family says memorial services for Cruz are scheduled for next week, Wednesday and Thursday, but boy, what they have been through just in this short period of time. So really just pleading for anyone who may have any information, whether it's a video or whether it's something you heard or saw personally, to come forward, or to even contact police anonymously. You do not have to give your name, never have to show your face, but you could really help out a family, and not just the family that, of adults, but again, these children who now have to grow up without their mother at such young ages, between 6 and 10 years old. So think about what they've been going through over the last several days. I think Lauren said, and this is something you often hear in crimes like this, where there are small children left behind. They're wondering, when is their mom or dad coming back home? They don't understand the concept that that person that they love, that they depend on, that they are so used to being with each and every day, is not returning to them. So it forces a family to have very hard conversations. And again, these kids are so young. So if you have any information, please check out the website if you need more information as to, I was in that area, but I don't remember seeing much. Check out the website. look over the article. Maybe something will jump out at you to say you might need to make a phone call and to police to at least share what information you do have. Maybe it could be helpful in the end. On a much brighter note here, okay? I don't want to leave you with all doom and gloom here. We have an article that's getting lots of attention. The Lollapalooza 2026 daily schedule has been released. You know, we give it in like small portions of excitement leading up to Lollapalooza, always the beginning of August. But you know, so initially we kind of hear, okay, who were the headliners? Okay, well, what day? Now we have the full list of artists, the full schedule, so you can plan out all of your activities for the time period that they will be here again in August. And it takes some planning to get through Lollapalooza. It's a lot. So this is the daily schedule here. It includes performance dates, set times for all the acts appearing across the festivals, 8 stages in Grant Park. I mean, it is something to see. I have not attended Lollapalooza, but I've definitely come out here when there are people coming and going in so many different directions on golf carts on the side and all of the different things. And I've interviewed so many of the organizers over the years as they talk about what goes into trying to make sure that people have a smooth experience. And so we've got the 4-day festival details all right here for you. It runs July 30th through August 2nd, and it features more than 170 artists. Oh, that's a lot. It's a lot. But you hydrate well, sleep when you can, and you get through it. So that information is there for you. You'll also see some links where you can get the prior information that we've put out about Lollapalooza, and some video links as well, so that you can start to plan your schedule for that week. Again, July 30th through August 2nd. And when I think about that, I think about how much different the weather will be by the time we get to July 30th through August 2nd, right? Because this week, we've still had on jackets. This week, we have still kind of had a little chill in the air. This week, we have still talked about frost a couple of days. We're on Tuesday, we've had frost each morning that people have had to contend with. But as you look outside, yes, people are still a little bundled up. Maybe you need an umbrella close by. We're warming up a bit today. We should get to about 73 degrees. This is another thing you can find on our website. You can get the details. In fact, we have like a, kind of like a little podcast here that all of our meteorologists contribute to throughout the day. So the last one was from Caitlin Cody as she talks about Chicago weather. Warm, windy, and the storm chances for tonight as we give you this live look. And you do see umbrellas up. You see that? Nice, multicolored, all shades of blue. The umbrellas are up here, so we can anticipate much more as the evening goes on. And of course, in the next hour, right around 3:30, we'll have meteorologist JD Rudd, who will come up and give us more information about exactly what's going on, what we can anticipate, and where we go from here. I think all signs point to the weekend. Well, that's kind of how we feel every week. All signs point to the weekend, but in terms of the temperature, but also we'll see where we go from here in terms of our weather as well. You can see he's already starting to work on some of his graphics for later today. When we talk about the rain that we're anticipating, you got to talk about what's actually needed and where we've been. Temperature wise, because he talked about the fact that kind of soaks up obviously some of the rain that we've had over the last several weeks. April was a very wet month for us, but what does that mean for us moving forward if we have warmer days? So he's going to be talking about that in the hours to come in our broadcast that will come on the air, and the podcast that they'll be putting online as well. So those are just a few of the things that we're monitoring right now. I'll tell you about a few other other things that are kind of trending online, just giving you the headlines, but you can go to our website and get more information. Joni Lum posted a story about a teenager that was killed in Northwest Indiana, this post-prom shooting that took place at a party. She's got more information as that teenager was identified. So now we at least know who we've lost in the community, but of course, so many people that are still trying to wrap their brains around what happened then. What was supposed to be a very, jovial occasion that turned so in the opposite direction. Also, an article about an armed woman fatally shot by police inside a suburban Chicago home. So those are just a few of the other things that are on our website. Again, all of that at fox32chicago.com that you can check out, both our stories, but then also the weather as well as we kind of make our way through the week. It is 2:42. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, everybody. And you know what? While we're talking about the weather that is to come, and that including storms, we're actually going to get into a conversation about hail damage. Not just hail damage, say the roof or, the dings and the dents to your car, but what do those dings actually do to all of the technology that's inside of your car? You might be surprised by what our next expert is going to share. The co-founder of Mobile Tech RX. That's coming up on the opposite side of this break. Give us 2 minutes and we'll be back. right, welcome back, everyone. 2:47 right now, and the day outside, it just the sky just keeps getting darker throughout our time here on the show. We're in the second hour, and it just keeps getting darker outside. We've got a lot of folks who are getting their umbrellas out, getting ready for more rain to come through our area, and so this is a timely talker here about what to do when it comes to technology in your car should there be a storm that includes hail in the area. We have Eric Garvis, co-founder of Mobile Tech RX. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us, obviously people initially think about, I don't want all of the dings to my car, but how you started to shift the conversation to thinking about like the things that we use all the time, but maybe don't necessarily think of from an auto perspective of like, I need to get this checked out because of damage.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, right? Like people look at it and they just think it's cosmetic, and you get this check from your insurance company. And so it's easy to just think, okay, let me just cash this and use it for something else. I'll worry about it later. When in reality, the problem is, that check that you would get from the insurance oftentimes is severely underwritten. And so it's not uncommon to be $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 less than what the repair actually is going to cost. So when you do finally go to try to get your car repaired, or if you go to try to sell it or trade it in, at that point, you've kind of expired, the time frame you have to let insurance cover it, and now you're paying out of pocket, or you're getting, significantly less on your trade-in because of it. And it's not just the cosmetic piece, but like, nowadays with all the technology in cars, it's not uncommon to have, a high-tech system ultimately that might need to be recalibrated, if severe damage hits like the front area of the car, for example, and you've got a radar sensor that's helping your car automatically brake, when it's on a highway. So it's definitely more than just cosmetics these days with all the technology in vehicles.
Mm-hmm. So then how should we change how we operate when something, when a hailstorm does come through?
So, the first thing is, call as soon as you can to your insurance company and file a claim. Because, there's a big event, especially like citywide, especially if it's during rush hour and there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of cars that are damaged. You're going to get backed up, and it's not going to be, uncommon to hear that you're a 3-6 month wait before any sort of shop in town can get you in. So you're potentially driving around, in a battered vehicle. Maybe you have, a side mirror that's gotten broken off, or even worse, a windshield that got cracked, or worst case scenario, kind of how I mentioned with those ADAS systems getting damaged. So definitely you want to, immediately, sometimes, it wouldn't hurt to even that same night or same day call in and just get on the front of that list. And one thing you have to keep in mind is, your insurance company is going to tell you where to go to get that initial estimate. And that's fine. It's probably going to be one of their partner, collision centers. But once you get that initial estimate, at that point, it's up to you who fixes your repair and where and when. So don't feel pressured into having to have it repaired at the same place that you get it estimated at. And I say that because, there's two main ways to get your car repaired. You can either have it painted, where they would take like a new hood and put it on, or they would repair the hood and then repaint it afterwards. So that's the conventional way. The better way is something called a paintless dent repair, or PDR. That's where they're actually going to take specialized tools and massage the metal back out to where it's totally flat and there's no repainting on the vehicle whatsoever. And you can get it back to be 100% like new condition without having to devalue your vehicle and without changing the way it looks. So you want to do your research and find a shop that's focused, is definitely like a PDR first mindset if it is a body shop, or go straight to the source and go find a PDR company in town that's got really great reviews and has been in the area for a long time. That's definitely the preferred way to go, the approach to fixing your hail damaged vehicle.
And when we talk about technology that could be susceptible to something like hail damage, I mean, what types of things in the car would be susceptible?
Yeah. So like I mentioned with like the two different ways to have it repaired. So with PDR, paintless dent repair, usually let's say the vehicle didn't get hit with hail hard enough to actually damage some of those physical sensors that I mentioned. You still have to worry about the repair process where you've got somebody taking the front bumper off the vehicle in order to take the headlights out, or they may have to remove a side mirror in order to get access to get a tool inside of the door, or they might have to lower the headliner of the vehicle in order to fix dents on the roof of the vehicle. And whenever you start taking these components off and you start unplugging them, then it is really common for a front radar camera, that's in the windshield or behind the windshield, or for a front radar behind the front bumper. All of these systems on the car, sometimes when they get unplugged or removed, won't work properly unless you calibrate them afterwards. So like I said, even if it doesn't get damaged by the actual like hail hitting the vehicle, it is more and more common that these high-tech systems are going to need to be calibrated after the repair is complete. And so these are, you think about when you're driving your car and you're backing up and it tells you you're about to hit the car behind you and it starts beeping. Or when you're on the highway and you have cruise control on and you have automatic cruise control, adaptive cruise control that speeds up if the car in front of you speeds up, and it slows down when it slows down. Blind spot monitor that kind of lights up on your mirror to let you know that there's somebody in your blind spot. We have all these systems on the car nowadays that are using radars and cameras and sensors to help perform all these safety features that you don't even really think about. And so these are the things that, when you have a hail damage on your car, you don't realize that, who you choose to have your car fixed could result in you driving it and not having one of these systems working properly if you don't pick, do your research and pick a high quality repair center.
So yeah, it really is about finding the right person to do this type of work. Are there special, usually with your insurance company, when you file a claim, they have like set people that they work with in your area. Do they have to have special certifications, or should we be looking for like special certifications for high technology?
Yeah, so that is a good point. Like when you do call your insurance and they send you somewhere, there's a good chance that the people they send you to will be highly qualified. But that is not always the case. When we talk about, do you have to have a training to do work on these high-tech systems? Like, it's kind of the wild, wild west right now. So the short answer to that is no. It's really more about just asking whoever you choose to have your repair done, do you make sure that any of my ADAS, ADAS, any of my ADAS systems are working properly after you perform the repair. And just make sure, like, if they look at you and have no idea what you're talking about, or if they think it's a silly question, then that's probably not a good sign. So just make sure that they're comfortable and aware of that terminology, and that they can confidently tell you, oh yes, don't worry, we're gonna not only do we do an amazing job fixing the dents on your car, but yes, we absolutely scan your vehicle beforehand and afterwards, and we reference all the industry materials to determine if there's any sort of ADAS calibrations we need to do before giving it back to you. So hopefully they're telling you that in advance, or it's on their website somewhere. But like I said, this is kind of a newer thing that not the entire industry has fully adopted. So if it was my car, I would still do my due diligence and ask these questions.
And do you see this as, for lack of a better illustration, like time under tension? If you're lifting weights, like time under tension, if you have your car out for set amount of time in a hailstorm, you should probably get these types of things checked out? Or is it no, if you see the dents from a hailstorm, then you should get these things checked out?
Yeah, if you don't have like physical damage, you don't see dents or broken windshields or mirrors, then you don't need to worry about it. The hailstones didn't come down hard enough to really damage any of your systems. These high-tech systems that I'm talking about, as far as getting them like calibrated or replaced, it's mainly part of the repair process that the collision shop or the paintless data repair company will go through that then triggers you needing to do a calibration. Rarely is it the hail actually hitting the vehicle and that alone causing you to need to do some sort of calibration, but that can happen. So it really can be both. And so to answer your question, if you don't go out and like see damage on your car, then you can sleep well at night and not worry about that. It's really if it damages it enough to bend the metal, at that point you should take it seriously and kind of go in and primarily get it fixed for the cosmetic purposes. But then when you go and get that process done, make sure that they're doing it the right way.
ADAS, right?
Yep, ADAS.
Learn something new every day.
Advanced Driver Assistance System.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing your expertise with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Obviously, I'm kind of hoping we don't need to put it to use, but it's better to know it. It's better to know it. Thank you for your time. It's 2:58, everyone. Give us 2 minutes. We'll be back. We'll set you up for where we're going in the 3 o'clock hour, our final hour here on Chicago Live for the day. Welcome back, everyone. 3 o'clock right now. So let's talk about where we're going here before we turn you over to the 4 o'clock. In fact, we're going to have Tia Ewing. She's going to give us a heads up, a preview of what's coming up in the 4 o'clock news. We'll also have JD Rudd, our meteorologist, who's going to be telling us a little bit about what is going on outside. We started today. Beautiful outside, and now people already have their umbrellas out, but it's not like pouring at the moment, but we're going to find out more details about where we're going from here in the evening hours. Also, we'll talk about the Salvation Army Week. Great things happening throughout the year for the Salvation Army, and they always need our help, right? We often put a spotlight on them when it comes to the Red Kettle campaign, for instance, during the winter months, during the holidays, but their work is ongoing. throughout the year. And so we're going to talk to them about what they're really trying to emphasize this week, and again, how we can be a part of the team helping out here throughout Chicagoland, those dollars that stay right here to help people in this area. Before we get to those things, though, we want to speak with Leslie Moreno, our reporter who is working on a student killed in a car crash. This story that so many have, gone online and really wanted more information about Leslie. She was fairly well known on campus.
Hey, Anita, how are you? Yeah, really heartbreaking story. We just spoke to the father of that 21-year-old student, as you mentioned. She was a track star here, a star track star, according to her family. She was very well loved. And essentially what happened was she was riding down Interstate 88 over the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, on I-88 near Aurora, when Illinois State Police say another driver hit her vehicle head on. 3 people died. Soraya, the 21-year-old, her best friend, according to her family, who was in the car with her, and the other driver as well. And the dad, I just spoke to him about an hour ago. He's absolutely devastated. She was a junior here at UIC, and during her free time, I'm being told that she worked with at-risk youth in a summer program in Seattle during the summer. So she was very well involved in sports. She loved children. Children loved her. And she was on her way. This is so sad. She was on her way to see her mother when that crash happened. So, this community here is just mourning her loss, and her family, her friends, all those who knew her, who love her. Just really sad for sure.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. I mean, it would be heartbreaking on any given weekend, but Mother's Day weekend, I mean, that's just, it's so tough. And this young lady, so promising of a future, being a track star.
Yeah, she was a track star, and she was also majoring in sports management. I asked her father, what did she want to do? Did she want to go pro? She wasn't sure. She just really loved sports, and she also loved children, so she was still kind of trying to figure that out. But she does leave behind another sister who is also following in her footsteps. And, I asked, the father, how are you dealing with all of this just devastating loss? And he says that he is staying strong for her sister, who also is looks up to Soraya and all that she's done, and she's also a track star. So yeah, just really heartbreaking. And we were also just told, actually, I'm just being told that there's going to be a balloon release this Saturday, and the family would love everyone to, who knows her, who has heard of her, to stop by. This is going to be happening at her old high school, and this is a good chance for people to just come together, support each other, and just talk about the impact that she left behind, and all those memories and the stories that people can share.
Yeah, I've seen people talking about this in different chat groups, and I just remember, I think back to like running track myself and how my teammates were like family to me, and losing a teammate, how hard that was on me, and how hard that would be, I'm sure, for so many that are trying to come to grips with, like, you were just practicing with this person, and then all of a sudden they're not there.
Yeah, and that's exactly the feeling that we're getting out here. I've been going back and forth with some friends and team members on social media, on Facebook, and UIC, the athletic department here, has also responded to say exactly what you're saying, Anita. This is just a big loss for this community. She was a big part of not just the track, team here, but at school, and she worked with at-risk youth, so she was very involved, and everyone's just devastated, and they're trying to support each other through this.
Yeah, and I know they're young adults, but is UIC like providing some resources, any counseling services or anything?
They have not responded to me on whether that would be available. I did ask the father if they were being assisted with anything. He has not heard of anything, so unclear right now. I will say, though, the family has set up a GoFundMe just to help with, the unexpected funeral expenses that are coming their way. So TBD. Hopefully, we're hoping to have that update by 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock show later.
And where was her mother? Like what city?
Mother was in DeKalb, I believe, if I remember correctly. So she was driving to DeKalb with her best friend when this happened.
It's just so sad and so sudden. Were the other two people who were killed in this? I mean, is that the driver of the other vehicle and then the best friend? Is that right?
Yeah, it was the best friend and then the driver. I did ask, the father of the family if there was any update on, was this person impaired?
Yeah.
Why were they going the wrong way? They're still waiting on toxicology reports. So it's still unclear right now, but we do know that he was going the wrong way when he crashed head on into Soraya and her best friend.
Yeah, because that's another one of those things where you're like, it had nothing to even do with you doing anything wrong.
Yeah, just really, really sad and, wrong place at the wrong time. Our hearts go out to the family and her mother. Again, this happened on Mother's Day. You can just imagine what, must be going through her mind, and she never got to see her baby girl.
And when did you say that balloon release is going to be again?
It's going to be this Saturday. We're going to have all those details on foxchicago.com, but it's going to be this Saturday at her old high school in DeKalb.
Okay. I'm sure there will be plenty of people who come out there, one, to support the family through this horrible situation, but then two, to support each other. Like I said, I mean, being a young person and going through something like that, losing somebody that you're close with, is a lot to wrap your brain around. So thank you so much for doing the legwork, going and talking with the family. And these are the hard interviews to do, trying to explain to somebody why we're going to go, why we want to speak to them during tough times in their life, but really important ones to do as well.
Thank you, Anita.
All right, take care. We'll see you on the air in the 4 o'clock. We are getting ready for several coming up in the 4 o'clock, so give us just a couple of minutes. We're going to bring in Tia Ewing to tell us about some of the other things that they're working on for the 4 o'clock today. That is just one of them, what Leslie is working on, but we have a full listing, and so she's going to give us a better idea of some of the other things that they have to come. Give us 2 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, welcome back. It's about 3:12 right now, so just a few minutes away from Tia Ewing joining us to get us up to date on what they're working on for the 4 o'clock. But as we wait, FBI Director Kash Patel is testifying with the Senate Appropriations Committee. This is on the fiscal 2027 budget request, so we're going to listen into this for a few minutes.
The FBI is the communities and the state and locals online can help us monitor, can help send tips to the FBI, can do it at NTOC, can do it at CGIS because of the AI capabilities that we've implemented there. And we're allowed to triage that data near live time and send it back to the community and the state and local and say, hey, this individual's a threat, or this individual's talking to someone that's a threat. It's the biggest ask I have of the United States during the World Cup or any major sporting event. We had the Olympics in Milan, we had two F1 races, the Super Bowl, and the Club World Cup last summer, and we had zero major security incidents. We've learned from each and every one of those with our international partners and our state and federal partners, and we're well prepared for the upcoming World Cup across America, which is going to have 3 million people come visit, both Canada and America and also Mexico. But the state and locals focusing on online threats for me and providing that information would be critical.
And that's a capability of sharing that information that they wouldn't have had in the absence of the attention that's being provided now due to the World Cup.
Absolutely. And also data on the sidelines, as I said earlier, might as well not be collected. So that's why we took the AI tools for the first time ever and applied them against triaging that data that comes in on the NTOC, our tip lines, and in our criminal justice information systems. We're able to go through all of that, including foreign language, and triage that, and foreign social media posts and triage that. And we did so in North Carolina, just to give you one example, and prevented a school shooting. If we had just left it to human capital, we would have missed it.
Got it. Administrator Cole, I've had the opportunity to see DEA Air Wings, the aviation department, in a couple of locations across the country. I wanted to give you a moment to speak toward the current state of the DEA's aviation fleet, modernization or recapitalization needs the agency is facing. We've tried to pay some attention toward recapitalizing the DEA and other law enforcement agencies' air fleet, but I can't imagine that we're any place close to where it ought to be.
No, sir, we aren't, but thank you for your continued support of DEA Aviation. We recently sold one of our Challenger jets, and we're going to use those proceeds back to buy another King Air. The King Air is the workhorse of our agency, not only domestically but internationally. It's been our workhorse in Colombia and soon to be going back to Mexico. So it's much needed. We will continue to streamline our efforts, continue to enforce the importance of aviation, especially with surveillance. But it's a force protector for our men and women that are on the ground every single day as well. So thank you for your support.
And how does the budget request address that issue of recapitalization?
The budget address will help with the purchase of the new aircraft, but it'll also allow us to ensure that our aviation fleet is always modern, safe, and very efficient.
Let me turn again to you, though, Administrator Cole. Southwest Kansas sits in a major trafficking corridor, face, in my view, unique challenges tied to narcotics trafficking, specifically the movement of fentanyl and this is the second time I haven't been able to say words. Methamphetamines, thank you. Through rural communities that do not have the same local law enforcement resources as large cities do. The DEA has been willing to establish a position in Garden City, and I appreciate that. Would you speak to what additional steps the DEA is taking to incentivize agents to locate in a place like Garden City, which to me is a very fine place, but is rural, and it's considered a small town by many, but one of the largest that I represent. And tell me about what you need in regard to incentives for relocation or otherwise.
Well, thank you for that. And as a career special agent, my first assignment was McAlester, Oklahoma. 3 agents for 30 counties. So I know the importance of making sure that DEA is present in those rural counties. I'm committed to staffing the Garden City office. I'm going to personally pay attention to it, and we're going to get you somebody there because it's the #1 priority, our connectivity to our state, local, and tribal partners to, number one, address the fentanyl epidemic that's ravaging through our states, but also to increase the capacity when it comes to sharing intelligence that allows the state and locals to do their jobs.
Do you have incentive capability to incent someone to locate in a particular location, large or small?
Yes, sir, we do.
Director Patel, I want to ask you to speak about the current threat environment in regard to religious and specifically Jewish communities in the United States. The status of the October 7th task force and what steps the FBI is taking to coordinate with local law enforcement in regard to religious institutions.
So we have focused heavily on those religious motivated acts of violence. And the October 7th task force, actually, I'm glad you bring it up, was the first model on the counterterrorism front that we utilized AI on our collection. And it gave us numerous leads, including the ability to stop and thwart attacks. We stopped.
Hey, we were listening in there to the Senate Appropriations Committee as they have both FBI Director Kash Patel and also the Director of the DEA, Terrence Cole, who are testifying before them today, talking about the budget request for 2027. And so that budget request from the federal government, from the Trump administration right now, is $12.5 billion that they are asking for. And so as you can see, and we were listening to there, they have lots of questions about how that money would be used. One of the things Kash Patel talked about was getting ready for the World Cup even. And he says if you think about the last major events that we have had in terms of sporting events that bring in so many people, there have been 0 major security incidents, and they want to be able to continue that good trend that we're on in the World Cup, estimated to bring about 3 million people. So they were asking them about current threats as well. As you would imagine, they want to know about, you know, if you're asking for $12.5 billion, what is the current threat environment? And they were specifically talking about the Jewish communities, and he was getting ready to answer more about that. So they're continuing on with their testimony there on Capitol Hill, but we want to bring in Tia Ewing as we're gearing up for the 4 o'clock news that will feature both she and Terrence Lee. So tell us a little bit about what you all have going right now. What are you working on?
Oh, we have a lot going on in our show today, that is for sure. One story you kind of got a preview to from Leslie Moreno talking about the 21-year-old who was killed in a wrong-way crash while going to see her mother for Mother's Day. Soraya Watson, 21 years old, a junior at UIC, also a student athlete. We're going to look a little deeper into that story and get a little more insight into who she was as a student athlete. There was also an officer-involved shooting that happened on East 83rd Street last night, so we're going to look a little deeper into that story as well. And we know that ShotSpotter hasn't been in place for a little while. So the question is anything going to replace it? Well, the city council's public safety committee had a hearing today on exactly that, to see what are the next plans for ShotSpotter. Will it come back? Will there be something to replace it? So we're going to dig a little deeper into that. And we've also been talking about the DNC getting a second act here in Chicago. They actually did a little bit of touring today. So we're going to, we kind of hopped along for a ride and kind of wanted to see what that tour consists of. So we'll have that story as well. And there's also construction that will be happening on Millennium Station South Water Street elevator, and that starts Monday, and that affects a lot of people that may have disabilities. So Metro is actually launching a new ADA trip planner, so we're going to delve into that as well. We have a lot in the show. Those are some of the top stories that I can kind of highlight for you to tell you that you can expect in the 4 o'clock, but there's so much news that we will be covering in the 4 o'clock hour, but that's just a breakdown of some of the headline stories, Anita.
Yeah, and I know Casey Cronus is working on a special, right?
Casey Cronus is working on a special. She's been working on so many specials. Let me see what this one is about. I don't want to lie. She's had so many specials that she's worked on. Casey Cronus is a hard worker. Okay, let's just say that now. Her special that she has, though, I don't think it's in the 4 o'clock show.
Okay.
I don't believe.
Okay. All right. I was thinking about it just because we were coming out of that FBI testimony, and I feel like hers has to do something with the FBI. So I know, she was working on that for today. So thank you for letting us know what's coming up on the 4 o'clock news.
No problem.
I know it's been a busy day for everybody, so we appreciate you taking out a moment to get us up to date.
Always a busy day at Fox 32 Chicago. Appreciate coming on your show. Thank you so much, Xonita.
Okay, we'll see you soon on the air. Everybody, it's 3:22, and we do appreciate it. I mean, these last 30 minutes before they're going on air, they're pretty chaotic. You know, you're trying to get a whole bunch of stuff together at the last minute. So we do appreciate whenever our anchors for the 4 o'clock take a moment, take a beat, take a breath to join us to talk a little bit about what's coming up in their show. And in fact, we're pulling on the meteorologist too. So JD Rudd is going to be up here right around 3:30 to give us a preview of the weather. We're already seeing people outside. I mean, if we can take just a view outside, it has been getting darker and darker throughout our time here. The streets wet, yes. We've got umbrellas up, yes, but it's not like pouring. And look at that view. Oh my. I mean, these are some of the dark views we're seeing. It's so ominous out there. And so you would imagine that maybe the sprinkles that are happening at the moment are probably going to be replaced with some, some sustained rain in the very near future. But we'll get all of that information coming up from JD in just a bit. It seems to be the trade-off for the warmer temperatures that we're experiencing today, even though I still see people outside in jackets. We were anticipating 70s today, which was like, yay, 70s. But those 70s come with rain. It's just the season that we're in. It's just the season that we're in. So it's probably not feeling like 70 degrees out there for all the folks who are hustling and bustling, but you do see folks getting to where they need to go. So give us a couple of minutes and we'll be back. We'll get you up to date on where we're going from here and bring JD Rudd into the conversation as well. It's just about 3:27, and so we know that in just a few minutes, JD Rudd will be up here to talk about our weather. Until then, let's talk about where the stock market has ended the day. Let's take a look at the big board, and we'll see where things. All right, okay. So I was a little concerned. You know, first thing this morning, things were not going in the right direction, and that's the proof right there on your screen. But the best thing is that we've ended the day in positive territory here, seeing that green on the screen and a definitive switch as the day was going on, right in the 2 o'clock hour, like the 1:30 to 2:30 time frame, actually, that things decided to make a turn there. So overall, the S&P 500 slipped today. This has to do with technology stocks, higher oil prices. Traders are also reacting to a hotter than expected annual consumer price index reading for April, though, so maybe that has a little to do with that turnaround that we started to see there. So the NASDAQ composite dropped today 0.71%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average advanced, as you're seeing here on your screen, a little over 56 points there by the end of the day, and so that's 0.11%. And again, a lot of this has to do with technology stocks. The oil prices, let me get into that because there's a lot conversation obviously around oil and gas prices during the war in Iran. Now we're in our 11th week of the war, the conflict. Even though we have a ceasefire, the president has said that the ceasefire is on life support right now. So West Texas Intermediate futures here, $102 a barrel, and Brent crude sitting at $107 a barrel. So yeah, President Trump says that the ceasefire is unbelievably weak and on massive life support, and that the last proposal that was sent over to him was completely unacceptable. So we'll see where things go from here, but we're glad to at least see that the day ended in positive territory, and we hope that there's more of the positive territory to come. We should all hope, yeah? We have JD Rudd, who is here now. JD, I was telling everyone that, and we've seen these pictures, we started to take pictures of how dark it's gotten outside. Some of these views are so ominous, but I'm not seeing like a deluge outside.
No, not at all. No thunderstorms out there, no nothing, just a darkening sky and some light to maybe moderate showers. That's going to be about it. The problem with the cloud cover, it's stopping the temperatures real quick. We were having a nice little warm up, and now we've hit the brakes on that one, at least in the downtown area for the time being. Other locales are in the upper 70s and low 80s right now.
Oh, really?
Huge difference today versus this time yesterday, that's for sure.
Yeah, we definitely thought we were going to be, you know, out and about in the 70s today, too.
We hit 70 so far. I think we got to 72 earlier. Now this little batch of rains come in, knock the temperature down a little bit. I'm optimistic if we can clear this stuff fast enough, maybe we pop back up a little more. We'll see.
Well, it's moving fast on your graphic.
Yeah, the rain is moving. It's in and out. It's along a cold front. That's the thing. It's along this cold front, and my worry is the front may come in right behind the rain, which could curtail the temperatures for us this afternoon. But at least from what you see here on the radar picture, there's no thunderstorms showing up, no lightning bolts, nothing like that. There is technically a risk of severe weather in place for today. It's a level 1 risk, just for the concern that there might be a pop-up shower or storm. So we'll see as that front drives closer to the area what exactly we get. I don't think we got widespread severe weather tonight, just some showers, maybe 1 or 2 rumbles. That's going to be about it.
Is this system coming in from Iowa? Where
kind of
is
the
this?
Iowa, Minnesota, western Wisconsin areas, kind of diving in from the upper plains. So it's not a huge, robust system by any means, but just enough to give us the showers. And again, with that hotter air that's in place, there could be enough instability later on this afternoon, this evening, to generate 1 or 2 thunderstorms. But I really think anything, quote-unquote, major would bypass our area for today.
And you think all of this will be out of our way by
9, 10 o'clock tonight. Should be out of here. We should be in for a dry evening. A little bit cool tonight, and then tomorrow starts off somewhat chilly, and temperatures, I think, get back to around 61, 62.
Mike Kaplan had frost this morning.
Some areas, because last night the clouds did not move in quick enough, they kind of stalled. The winds dropped off quickly, and yeah, it got cold right along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. We've been saying that over and over, night after night. That's that one area, that problematic area that has seen the chillier air. I don't think that's the case tonight.
Okay, all right. So where do we go from here?
Up. once we get past tomorrow, things will start to go up. I'm thinking 66 to 67 on Thursday, 75 on Friday, and then over the weekend, I just finished the forecast update. I've bumped us up to about 85 for Saturday.
85.
About 82, 83 for Sunday, near 80 for Monday and Tuesday next week. So a warm stretch is coming. Along with that, though, daily chances for some showers and some thunderstorms.
This is not Florida.
So we're trying to pretend, though. We're trying to make up for lost ground. We're trying to get that feel, bringing Florida to us, which I know it's not ideal. And some folks don't like that, but it's like we always say. I mean, just because you see rain icons in the forecast doesn't mean it's going to rain from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
It's just there's a chance of rain in that period. So we'll fine tune the timing, the details as we get closer. I don't think you have to cancel all your weekend plans right now, but certainly keep more eyes on Sunday than on Saturday. That's the better chance for something a bit more robust. And with the heat and humidity in place, because it will get a little muggy this weekend, there could be some active weather on Sunday, some severe storms on Sunday. So keep an eye on things. We still have plenty of time before we get there. We'll iron out those details, make it all make sense as we get closer, but just some pre-planning for folks.
And I, yesterday this time, it was pretty choppy on the water, windy outside. Is it still windy out? Well, it doesn't look like yesterday.
It's not like yesterday. Surprisingly, all the data was suggesting today was going to be a windy day for everybody. It hasn't been for everybody. It's been those areas south of the city that have seen some stronger winds, around 15 to 20, even 25 miles per hour. We in downtown have been kind of hovering around 10, 15 miles per hour, which much different than yesterday. So we're not getting the white caps on the water like we saw yesterday.
Okay. And I mean, obviously our focus is on what's happening here at home, but are there some other things, weather events that, are kind of causing conversation throughout the country?
Not a whole lot. We're fairly quiet. The one thing, I guess, in a positive light, and we mentioned this, I think, a day or two ago, how Florida has been in an extreme drought. They're actually getting some much needed widespread rain today. A few thunderstorms in there. One or two of those might be on the stronger side, but it is some very welcome rain to Florida. So
I think when we talked with our friends at Fox Weather the other day, there were like 12,000 acres that had burned thus far from a lightning strike.
Yeah, I know.
So they could use that rain.
They need the rain for a multitude of reasons to help squelch the wildfires and just to give them some much needed rain for all the crops, because we don't think about that, but there is a good chunk of Florida. We know about the citrus crop, but there's actually a lot of farmland in Florida, believe it or not. A lot of ranchers in Florida, they need that moisture as well for their cattle, for their fields, everything else.
Yeah. So good to hear that.
Yes.
Okay, so not too much else. That's
no, it's actually pretty quiet. There's no major snowstorms in the Rocky Mountain areas.
We had like everything last week.
It's a buffet. This is how you know it is May, not just in our area, but around the greater region. It's the turbulent weather, ups and downs, and a surefire sign it's getting warmer. Road construction everywhere. It's just the orange flour barrels have just gone up everywhere. That's how you know.
Winter and then construction
and then, boom,
season.
That's the seasons. Yeah, those are the two main ones.
We had the major pothole that opened up on I-80, I think that was, in Joliet, yesterday morning. But they have it fixed now because of construction season.
Yeah, it's the goods and the bads.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for coming up to let us know what's going on. We love kind of people watching outside of our windows here, and even though we talked about 70 degrees, I was still seeing people walk around in jackets, and I'm like, okay, well, it must not feel like 70 something.
I think some folks have just had some weather whiplash, so you almost don't know how to dress for this stuff.
Now
because
that's true too.
Wait, it was warm, now it's cold, now it's warm, now it's cold. So I think people after yesterday are going, well, shoot, I better just bring my jacket just in case. But I mean, on my drive in earlier, I watched the little thermometer on my car just go up and up and up and up. And so when I got into the city, we were already at about 68, 69 degrees. I did see that we popped to at least 70 earlier. I can actually, let me check real time right now and see where we are at the official temperature at the reporting site at O'Hare. I know with the rain cooled air, we have dropped a little bit.
And like you said, people wear some of everything right now.
You have to.
So, like the gentleman right on the right side, like you got the short sleeves on, but you're also carrying the coat.
Preparing for everything.
Yeah.
I see here we were up to 72 at 2:30. The clouds came in, the rain came in, and we dropped to 70. We spiked back up to 72 at 2:55, but now with the rain right over top of the sensor at O'Hare. O'Hare is down to 66 degrees. And the wind has gone to the north, which tells me the front is right on top of O'Hare, so that front is coming in. So the likelihood of any major temperature recovery might be slim. All we can hope for is some sunshine before the end of the afternoon to maybe bump us up.
I'll tell you something I noticed yesterday, and I was like, I've got to talk to JD about that tomorrow, and I forgot until just now. I was outside walking, and an area that had all of these beautiful tulips that were planted a couple of weeks ago, those tulips were bare.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if you're, if you have a green thumb or not, but I'm like, do they grow back? I mean, will they be okay?
No, they'll be fine. They will be fine.
Okay?
They will be fine. I mean, they're one of those flowers that they come up the early part of spring, they do their thing, they look beautiful, they drop their petals, and then they're done for the year, but they'll come back next year.
Oh, but they're done for the year if they're bare.
If they're bare, they are done for the year.
It's too early.
They've had their ups and their downs.
Oh,
so
that's really what I was thinking about. When I was like, wait a minute, like, do they come back and replant these? Will they like revive themselves? I had a lot of questions.
My point is I'm not a green thumb. I'm more of a brown thumb. But I know we've got some tulips outside of our house, and I watch their pattern every year. Now, listen, I can't say that somebody won't come in and replant some tulips to make it look good. I hope so, because
it was a lot.
But those ones that are there right now, once the petals are off, that's it for the season for them. I know it's
and then before I let you go, the final thing we'll talk about here, forgot, it is the Crosstown Series, Sox Cubs coming up this weekend. It's such an electric environment each year. But yeah, you can't really tell what the weather is going to do from year to year.
It's going to be warm this year. We know that, so plan accordingly. And again, like I mentioned, there is a chance of storms Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. There's a chance every single day. Sunday has the best chance. So depending upon what your schedule is, what you're planning to do, keep that in mind. And I know it's very tough when we get so many diehard fans into one area and a storm comes over to try to make that many people move and seek shelter. But I'm telling you, if you are out and about on Sunday and that alert comes through, do your best to find some shelter just to be on the safe side, because Sunday looks like a pretty rambunctious day in a variety of levels.
Oh, wow. So, okay.
I hope no games are rained out or postponed, but listen, it's a long season. We got plenty of time, and maybe the anticipation will make it even better.
They've been doing a really good job of moving the time around, listening to you all, and then moving the time around to avoid issues thus far. So hopefully they can keep that track record going. They will do what they can,
but depending upon the game time and other games in the MLB, it's quite the process. Not to derail our conversation too much and go over on time. I was really good friends with one of the meteorologists. The Major League Baseball partners with a private entity in most cases to get guidance on those games. And talking to this friend of mine from years ago, he's like, there's so much that goes into it, because yes, they look at that one game, but they got to keep in mind TV schedules, other teams in the division, what they're playing. You don't want anybody to throw games off, especially with sports betting these days. So many things happen that go into these schedules. So to move things around, sometimes it's not easy, because it could have domino implications elsewhere. And so sometimes it's just best to postpone, reschedule.
We'll see what they have to do. Hopefully they can get the game in, because both sides of town want to be in on this one. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. All right. Thanks for coming up. We appreciate it. We will see you for the 4 o'clock news in just 20 minutes. So give us 2 minutes, everyone. We'll be back here for Chicago Live. welcome back, everyone. We're coming up on 3:45 shortly here. And, you know, our friends with the Salvation Army do wonderful work year round, but we probably don't put as much of a spotlight on that hard work throughout the year as we do, say, during the holiday season. But this is a week. Salvation Army Week is a time when we can get more into the things that we can all help out with. And we have Captain AJ Zimmerman, who is joining us now to tell us a little bit more about the efforts that are happening and how everyone can play a role. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, I'm really excited. It is National Salvation Army Week, and we are really excited to tell you what the Salvation Army is doing. We're not just a seasonal organization, that we are the nation's largest private provider of social services, and nearly 28 million people in the U.S. rely on the Salvation Army for basic needs each year. And so we want to tell people about what's happening, what we're doing, and how they can also be a part of it.
Let's start with the need. Like, what does the need look like in Chicago right now?
I'm glad you asked. The need is great. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who in the past were donors who gave to the Salvation Army, and now they are in the line receiving food pantry. You know, we have food pantries, the line have doubled. We have more people calling for assistance. There are a lot of people in Chicago who are really struggling during these seasons.
A lot of people, and they're looking for all the resources that they can get. So if people are unfamiliar with the vast network of resources that the Salvation Army provides, give us a window in.
Yeah, so we have summer camps, we have day camps, we have shelters, we have drug rehabilitation programs, we have food pantries, we have community centers. There are so many different things that the Salvation Army provides right here in Chicago.
And when someone comes to you all, what is the process like to connect to those resources?
Yes, so whatever the need is, whether you want to donate, whether you want to volunteer, the best way to connect with us is salarmychicago.org. And whatever the need is, we try to meet it to the best of our abilities. Now, our funds are not unlimited, and we definitely are people powered and need your help. But that's the best way. You know, we don't discriminate. We allow and accept everyone, and whatever the need is, and we can fill it, we'll do it.
All right, let's talk about that team effort there, the people power. How can people give? And when people give, they may be thinking, oh, I'm giving $1. How far does that dollar go with you all?
Yes, so everything counts. Every cent, every dollar counts, and 80% of that dollar goes back to the people. It doesn't stay within the organization. And what you provide as people, it powers what we do for our community. Every dollar stays within our community. It stays in Chicago. So although we are a big, a multinational organization, we are about Chicago, and we're about making sure that Chicagoans have it. When you donate to Chicago, it goes back to Chicago.
So what are some of the things that you all will do during National Salvation Army Week?
Yeah, National Salvation Army Week is just an opportunity to get to know what the Salvation Army is doing, to take a part of it, donate, to get involved, volunteer, and just learn a little bit more about the Salvation Army. It was began with President Eisenhower, and in 1954, and it was just an opportunity to commemorate what the Salvation Army has done in the past and what we will continue to do, and the dedication that we will have for each and every community in the future.
What has giving been like? You talked about the fact that some people who donated at one point need the resources now. What have giving levels been like the last year?
It's been very difficult. We have our donors and people who have continually stood by us and continue to help us, but we have a lot of people who are just not able to give what they used to be able to in the past. We have a lot of people who would like to give and who are willing to give at the time, but they may not have the funds. So yes, so giving has been difficult, but we we believe that there are a lot of people in Chicago who want to help and who can help and who will help. And so, this is an opportunity for them to get involved.
And I see that you know, are kind of focused in Inglewood. Is there like a hub in each neighborhood in Chicago, or where are the Salvation Army hubs throughout Chicago?
Yes, so there's a Salvation Army in practically every zip code. And so you can go on the website to figure out what Salvation Army connects to your zip code. But I am based out of Inglewood, and proud of it, love it. The need is great, the work is difficult, but at the same time, the people are amazing. And so they make it all worth the while.
Mm-hmm. How did you connect with Salvation Army? Well, give us a little of your journey.
Yes, so actually I started attending the Salvation Army when I was 9 years old. I was an attendee of a community center, came there to play basketball. I'm not very good, even though I'm 6'7", but yeah, and from there I just saw a safe haven, a place to go. I'm originally from Detroit. To get away from the violence and get away from the things that were going on in my community, I ran to the Salvation Army, and there I found hope, I found peace, I found love, and I never left.
Mm-hmm. And so what does it mean to you to be able to turn that around and come back to something that filled you in such a significant way, to be able to do that for other people?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Inglewood reminds me very much of my home community in Detroit. And so to be able to be a leader and a leader of color in a community like Inglewood has just been phenomenal. And it's been life-giving, and the level of understanding that I have that, other people may not understand because I've been through situations like they have. It's just been great. And so I'm just so grateful and thankful to be able to give back, but also to be able to receive so much and be able to be to stand shoulder to shoulder with so many amazing people within the community who day in and day out is willing to help.
Yeah, and I think you give that work regardless of whether you see the results or not, but can you see the results of some of that work?
Oh, absolutely, yes. I have 43 graduates that will be going to eighth grade, going to high school, and high school going to college, and just so proud just to see how they have stayed away from some of the dangerous behaviors. I always say that they're one bad relationship away from destruction. And so being connected to the Salvation Army, being connected to community centers and like-minded people who care about them has been life-changing. And so to see them go off to college and see them graduate from college, it's just been amazing.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Do you, in what you're doing with the Salvation Army, do you feel like, we focus so much during the holidays on the Salvation Army, but do you feel like people misunderstand the Salvation Army's overall mission and what you all are about throughout the rest of the year?
Yes, absolutely. I think that a lot of people think that we appear when winter comes and we disappear afterwards, but that's just not the case. We are year-round. The Salvation Army is, like I said, one of the biggest organizations with 28 million people relying on us. And so we, day in and day out, have to make sure that we have funds. We have to make sure that we have food. We have to make sure that we have, space. Both in our hearts and in our building, to make sure that people are cared for. And so I think that people really, truly don't grasp how vast and how wide the resources and also the services that the Salvation Army has.
Mm-hmm. That said, what planning is going on into the Red Kettle campaign?
We are excited. We are excited, because of the need is so great. Mm-hmm. And because so many people are hurting during this time. We are definitely going to need people and our donors and people who believe in our mission, who stand behind us to dig in and really, really give and help. And so we are excited. We know that people care about people, and we know that Chicagoans are going to show up for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for showing up for Chicago time and time again. Will there be some events, some opportunities? Some things that are kind of, pushed to the forefront that people can participate in?
Yeah. So again, because it's National Salvation Army Week, feel free to go to our website, salarmychicago.org, to figure out how you can get connected and figure out how you can help. That's both volunteer, donations, and even receive help. And then as far as events, I mean, we will have our annual lighting of the tree and kettle campaign. But for right now, we want to make sure that you just you get involved and you be able to help however you may see fit.
I asked that because I know even you all play a big part in, say, like the Bears coat drive and things like that. I mean, things that again fall outside of the kettle campaign, but really mobilize everyone to give, because the need continues on, and then you all are able to kind of use those events as things that sprinkle the gift throughout the year.
Yeah, every community is different. Every zip code is different. And so, I mean, at my site, we have things like back to school events, haircut, things to keep our kids safe during the violent times and in the summer. And so locally, there are vast amount of programs and after school programs and things that are available right in your community, right in your hometown, that the Salvation Army is doing. So, I mean, and because the need is different in every location, so are the events. So it's not like one blanket event for everything, but it's whatever the need is, that's where the Salvation Army shows up. If you need a coat, we got you. If you need some back to school gifts and a book bag, the Salvation Army is there. If you're struggling with paying your rent and your utilities, the Salvation Army is there to help you as well. And so we are just here to meet needs.
And since you mentioned, the fact that kids will be out of school soon, what is it that you all do in the summer months for kids at your location?
Yeah, so at my location and many like mine, we have after school programs, and then we also have the summer camps in the summer. So we have a away camp, and we also have day camps that stay within the community. And so we have different events and things so that the kids are safe and the kids are away from harm and away from the things that is happening within the city.
And people can sponsor a kid?
Yes. Yep. So that all goes a part of the going to the salarmychicago.org, where you are able to donate and give to a kid so they can attend camp, or give to a kid or a family so that they can be a part of day camp. So that's all there.
Okay. All right. I'm going to check it out myself. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We certainly appreciate your time today, but more importantly, what the Salvation Army does throughout the year, and you specifically there in the Inglewood neighborhood. But thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Super important that we, listen into what our community organizations are doing, but also where we can hear how we can also be a part of helping to meet the need. And there are so many different organizations that could use our help in one way or another. It's kind of like get in where we fit in, right? Just listen out for the things that speak to your heart, and then figure out a way to help out because the need is that great. 3:56, give us 2 minutes. We'll be back to close out the show. welcome back, everyone. We certainly appreciate you, as always, for hanging with us here on Chicago Live. We're here weekdays 1 to 4 p.m., and we certainly hope that you'll be back with us tomorrow. We have covered so much ground today. If you were not with us in our first hour, we started off the show with the puppies that have stayed with me for the last 3 hours. So cute, the Beagles that were rescued from the Ridgeland Farms in Wisconsin. And
I hope he took that hat off before he asked the question.
Oh, God.
But, there's Charlie's hat.
Blocking the camera.
Blocking everyone's camera view. Great, so now everyone in the press corps is going to hate him.
We've got to call them, guys.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 4.
Let's go.